Okay. So, basically, after the whole cage incident, after the whole nuking thing, um, Weibel was able to kind of help us out in figuring out how exactly we're gonna get to, Yunlo's tree. And he helped us out by giving us some gum-style clothing. He gave us a book, a guide called, Asia, and we also got Bolum. We were able to, convince Weibel to let Bolum come along. And we find out that Bolum can speak Druidic, so Don and Notrix can communicate with them. And eventually, we're able to make our way through the rivers and into like the more western, no, the eastern, yeah, the eastern side of the island, and we're able to sail down the rocky coast. I'm trying to think. Did we get to the area where? No, we had a few nights where we had to camp out. I remember we used a tiny hut, and um, let me see. I feel like I'm missing a bit with like I think there's a bit between like Alcana and Alistair, but what's it called? I know that then we were able to paddle through to the south, and we were able to find this large like ruins area. I think I'm jumping a little ahead, but we
That's fine.
essentially had to like dodge around these ruins and avoid sea bears, and we met up with some. Well, we were sleeping in the tiny hut, and we met with this smuggler. Essentially walked up, and I think it was Natrix who like walked outside and was just able to like calmly tell him, "Hey, we're just sleeping here. Go away." And the smuggler warned us about these sea bears. And we're able to avoid a fight by just sneaking around them, and we didn't have to pull out the chalk. So that was good. And but then the most important thing is we started walking through the forest, and eventually we got to Yoon Lo's tree, and oh boy.
Well, before that, as you started walking across the low plains, it began raining very hard.
Oh yeah. Started raining really hard, and essentially we were we then like were able to go down to Yunlo's tree, and as Natrix was trying to talk to Yunlo as a spider, we all got attacked by all these orbs. And like while we fought the orbs, Natrix essentially learned from Yunlo, even though it was very cryptic, we're basically able to learn the the Wisps were essentially disciples of Yunlo, right? Doing a duty to protect us because Yunlo thought for a second that we were going to hurt it. And then Yunlo's people kept prehistoric forces that he calls like other earth, other life, and other mist. And it was dormant for thousands of years. But eventually a poison kind of started to spread from his heart, which are deep in the caverns of the island, and we're able to find out that we're basically able to find out the location because he laid out a very nice path for us in order to go like destroy whatever poison is like hurting his heart right now.
Well, the giant tree, Yunlo, was sort of butted up right against the sheer cliffside. And what happens is that as Natrix sort of finished his conversation, the cliffside started to resolve itself into this long staircase.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I suppose that's where you are. So let me go ahead and make this card something a little bit more appropriate. So, you guys watch Natrix. You have just descended from the top of this tree, your new staff in hand, this sort of realization washing over you. The others of you are still down here, sort of scattered around this large platform that has seemingly been built around the immense twisted form of this giant tree. Uh, Alistair, you actually notice as the rocks sort of shifted immediately next to this platform to create these steps that you can see at the very top still seem to be slowly forming one by one. That there's a small, what looks like a plaque of some kind that had been, maybe buried by dust over time that now becomes visible. Asia is sort of still sitting in one corner, it's kind of holding her head. And you see Bolum, who hid for most of your encounter with the wisps, has gotten up and walked over to her. So, what are you guys up to?
I don't know if we had this interaction earlier, but yeah, Don flies up to Nalchix and he asks, "Where'd you get that from?" And he points to the wand.
Oh, this Yunlo gifted it to me. It was
Whoa!
at the very peak of the tree.
Sounds like he liked you.
Well, it was quite difficult to tell, I suppose. But I think I managed to persuade him in the end that we could be of help. And yes, it seems he gifted me what I think it is his staff from when he was a mortal being. Because I doubt he uses this staff often now as a tree, I guess.
Probably not. And everyone sees these like staircases, right? Like it's not just like an astral thing that Nalchix can see.
Uh, Everyone but Asia.
Oh, interesting.
Well, she can't see anything.
Oh, true. Okay, that makes sense.
Orson looks around, confused, and suddenly says, I don't know why, but I felt like an ancient spirit took over my body for some reason. Either that or something else got over me. I don't know what. Don't you guys have that problem sometimes?
Only once.
I felt like a completely different person. I don't know how you can not feel it.
Well, I can assure you, you've been acting pretty cool the past few days.
Aww. I'm sure I have.
You see that Bolum has kind of helped Asia back onto her feet, and she's now sort of just leaning against one of these sort of stones jutting out towards the edge of the platform. He walks over towards Notrix and Dawn. He says, in Druidic, this thing that happened, what just happened? This is a thing that it's not a thing that I have seen in any time or hear of happening in any time.
Well, I spoke to Yunlo, and I believe I said something at first which he disagreed with, and he sent these wisps on. Well, these wisps descended on us. That was because of my words. I am sorry.
Those with him?
Yes, I believe I made. I didn't make our intentions as clear as I could have. I said we were looking to. Well, I said we were looking to go see the threat beneath this island, and I guess he interpreted that as us wanting to wake them up.
Don't worry, buddy. I haven't had a lot of luck with plants either.
So these wisps, they are not attacking anymore.
No,
Don't sound like it.
it took me a
Then
while,
this
but I did manage to talk to Yan Lao and convince him that we were not actually wanting to harm the island.
but this is a thing. You think you are trusting. You are not thinking that they might attack another time.
I don't believe they would. No, the Yan Lao seems well. He seems quite okay with us being here now.
Also, lower your voice. Trees have ears, you know.
He kind of looks a little sheepish, and he says, "I am seeing that Alcana is able to is blind and then is not blind. Is she? Do you know a way? Asia cannot see."
Oh, I can do that too. Here, I'll go to Asia. Give me 1 second. And then he flies over to Asia and he wants to cast Restoration.
And she kind of blinks her eyes once more, and she says, "Oh, darling, I can see once more. What was that? They're not attacking anymore, are they?"
Nope, they're gone.
"Clearly not. You do not know how much a hunter needs her sight. I cannot do anything if I do not have my eyes. Were those stairs always there?"
Nope to that either. Also, I meant,
You know,
a lot happened.
stairs. Well, I can probably make a case about them being there before. Or should I say a staircase about them? He kind of grins.
Don like flies down to a rock and just does that little ba-dum.
You are not planning to go up that way, are you?
Nowhere else to go but up.
Darling, strange stairs going up the mountain out of nowhere. Is that truly where you want to be going? Does not seem like a very prudent thing.
You low made it for us. We gotta be, polite. Trees get easily offended.
I know our shaman has much reverence for Yun Lo, but this tree, who knows how many centuries it has grown here. If you talk to that and it does this, and you think there is something wrong in the island, strange in the place where its roots grow, I am not sure that is a thing that I am going to trust. We passed those monks on our way here. It is clearing up now. The rain is much lighter. I think if we go back, we may be able to find something curious about that. I have never before heard of monks herding triceratops. That, I think, is a much more pressing concern.
We could always check that out before climbing the stairs. What do you think,
Darling,
Notrix?
you're not going to go up a staircase to nowhere, are you, just because a tree told you to do it?
What do you have against trees? Yunlo is, he's cool. I think. I don't know. Notrix said that he was alright. Right, Notrix?
Well, he was something. All right,
Would
I
you say
guess.
would you say you don't trust him, or
I I guess I don't know.
At any rate, I apologize deeply, but the agreement that I made was to guide you as far as the tree. Now, I can guide you back. I am happy to do that, but if you go up these stairs to nowhere, I am not coming with you, and I certainly cannot send Bolam with you.
Yes, of course. We wouldn't expect you to follow us up into a dangerous place like that if you didn't want to. I suppose that, well, the herding of Triceratops certainly is interesting, huh? You say it isn't something that they normally do.
Well, it is certainly not anything I have ever heard of these monks doing before, and well, with how strange the wildlife has been acting north of the island, it makes me wonder maybe there is some connection.
Oh, on our travels on the north of the island, we actually encountered a an animal branded with a mark like it was being owned by someone.
Branded into its skin.
Yes, yes, exactly like that. I thought that well, I thought that might have been common, but you're saying that it is not something you have heard of before.
What kind of creature again did you say this was?
It was one of those three-horned animals.
Yes, a triceratops. That is. This is news to me, and troubling news at that. I have heard that they sometimes keep some of the oxen, but for them to keep Triceratops, to brand Triceratops, that means, well, whatever they are doing, it is different from what they have done before.
I'm sure that Yunlo would keep the staircase up for us. We could always like make a little detour before going to where we need to go.
We could also look into this matter after we've done the other thing.
Well, Asia's gonna go back. That's the problem. So we might as well do it while she's here.
I suppose, but well, I may be a bit biased given my field of study, but I think it might be more prudent to deal with the nameless things under the ground before monks doing strange things with animals.
Is the staircase like physical, or does it look like astral? Like, do you think it would disappear for like within a period of time, or do you think it'd pretty easily stay there?
It seems to have composed itself almost as if all of the loose dust of the cliffside sort of found itself into these steps of stairs, almost looking as if there was a small earthquake and somehow every place that the loose dirt landed made a crude step in the staircase. It doesn't look ethereal. It doesn't necessarily look completely sturdy, so you can't be entirely certain if it's going to last or not.
Sure, like
Well, I'd let you roll like an arcana or a nature check though if you want to try to get a better feel for it.
Can I roll like an insight check on the tree? Like, oh, what was
testing.
his intention? Will this staircase be here longer?
He didn't really tell you.
I know, that's
anything
why I
about
said
the
inside.
staircase.
Here,
Yeah, it just
I'm
kind
gonna
of
try it.
appeared.
No.
Yeah, it's a little hard to say for certain.
Oh, I have a different idea. Can I cast Druidcraft and just check like the weather? Like if it's gonna rain, then it might be a little risky to go because then the rain's probably gonna degrade the staircase. But because it might not be very, stable. But if it's clear skies, then maybe it's okay to leave it alone for a while,
All right. So you craft this sort of orb in your hand, and you can see that it seems relatively clear at first, if a little bit gray, but then you see slowly it begins to look sort of wetter and wetter, almost seeming to indicate that it's going to stay clear here for a while, but then it will start raining again.
Here's the thing. If we do check up with the Triceratops, we gotta make it quick, or else this staircase is gonna be washed away by the rain.
Right, but do we have any indication that what these monks are doing is only temporary? Why do we have to look at it now?
Yeah, I look at Asia and I just ask, like, why is it weird that the, domesticating Triceratops? Don't humans try domesticate like cows and things like that?
Darling, it is certainly not the way of the gum. I know other people do this. I know that even in the past the monks have kept their own herd of oxen, but Triceratops, that is something very different, very different. And it makes me wonder if it is only that. We have seen fewer oliphants. We have seen the Tyrannosaurus, the terrible lizard, venturing further and further north, outside of where we expect to see it. And, well, both of those have had ripple effects across the whole ecology.
You think that, like, keeping them captive, huh? Don's immediately concerned.
I cannot say for certain, though, to see an apparent band of monks stomping across the plain in the rain, no less, darling, it is most peculiar.
Don just turns to everyone and raises his hand and he says, I vote to check on the Triceratops.
Alistair finally speaks up from where he's laying down by the stone steps. What kind of an idiot are you?
What?
What do you think is more important? The fact that some red-road, fire-obsessed freaks decided they want to play farm animals, or the fact that there's some unknown thing living below this island that could bring about the end of the world?
What if those monks use
is
the
more
Triceratops? Because listen, if we come back fast enough, then we'll be able to climb the stairs and it'll be no problem. Nothing has been underground has been incubating for months. It could wait like 24 more hours, right?
Can it? Are you 100% certain, willing to risk everybody here's lives for that?
No. But
I'd also like to, if we can, talk to this lone smuggler who was walking towards the caves before he gets himself killed, or other things happen to him.
maybe we'll meet him along the way, I guess, if we go now. But the Triceratops.
I'm sure they're not just going to brutally kill them all before we get back.
I will also say that Worsened, Alistair, Alcana, and Peyton all you're not having trouble standing, but you are really feeling the journey that you made to get here weighing on you.
Of course, I'm not having trouble standing. I'm not standing.
And just for the record, I am not a young man anymore. I do not want to walk any further than I have to. And this detour to save some wildlife, well, if you excuse me, I think I'd much rather get to where we're going and then, well, then I'll have a nice long rest.
Yes, are you?
Alcana speaks up and agrees with Peyton.
Orson sighs and says, "Well, I'm not sure if my memory is playing tricks on me, but I don't remember. I feel like this place has kind of drained me. You know?"
Yes, I suppose a lot of you don't look in any shape to be climbing stairs like this. Hmm.
Are you saying we should make camp before we climb up?
Yes. Although,
How steep do the stairs look?
They look, definitely a bit steeper than the stairs you'd find in, uh, in a nice cottage, but they don't look like untenably steep. They don't look like they're stairs for a giant.
Is it like walking up the Skyrim mountain? You know what I'm talking about? Or is it more like a linear stair, like no matter what you're gonna be climbing? There's no like flat paths or anything.
They sort of almost, they're very narrow and they sort of switch back up the side of the cliff.
Aha. Okay.
You said there was some kind of mural up there, right? How far up was that?
Not a mural. That kind of just the loosening of earth revealed a plaque sort of near the base of the tree that you couldn't see before.
Oh, Alistair goes over and looks at it, I guess.
All right, you look at this plaque, and it says in Wushanko, Kan Yunluo, who here passed through the green flame to become transcendent. And underneath that, it says Colonel Batson Goal, 50 CK.
I don't know. I mean, Yunlo might appreciate us saving those Triceratops. You know what I mean? He likes animals. All trees like animals.
Yes, but Fairy, I think there's just. I think of these two alternatives, there's one that's, well, frankly, a lot more important. There's, you know, wildlife preservation, and there is stopping the nameless things that gnaw on the roots of the world from killing everything and, I don't know, making the world plunge into darkness or something.
And Alcana speaks up, very exasperated at this point, to you, Don, telling you there are more important concerns going on right now.
Fine. I just wanted. I don't know. He like looks away. He still feels bad for the whole like gray tiger incident. And now there's this.
I mean, on the bright side, it's not. Nothing is really going anywhere in like a day, right? We can probably sleep here.
Yeah, let's just sleep, I guess.
so Don, you were worried about this being washed away in the next rain, weren't you?
How long did you say it was until it was gonna rain?
I don't think your druidcraft tells you exactly when. You know that it will start raining eventually. sometime within the next 24 hours.
Here's the thing. Like, based on my spell, I kinda assume that it's gonna be about 24 hours until it actually rains. So, what if you really want to go and not save the Triceratops, we can walk up halfway and make camp up there.
These stairs look pretty narrow to be camping on. I think if we walk up, we need to walk up all the way.
True. But we might encounter something up there, like a flying turtle or something. You know,
Yes. And
It could happen, but is it wise to expect it to happen?
no. Thing is, like, if it rains in like 24 hours, we could always take like a 5-hour rest and then 5-6 hour and then head up. How's that?
Yes, well, I think for the sake of our party members who are not in the best shape right now, we should take a rest.
Yes, please, very much.
Okay.
That'll take a lot out of us.
all right,
Lead
well,
in the
very
days
well.
ahead.
Bards. Were and Peyton just sort of starts flipping through a notebook. Worsened.
Wow, you had to actually write down my name to remember it. That's fine. I do it sometimes with if people here too.
Right. Could you cast the hut spell?
Do we need the hut spell in this situation?
We're gonna camp.
Well, Worsened then smiles up and says, "Do you want to hear the presentation again? I know you want."
I think we understand
Presentation?
this
We heard of,
point.
like, you do it every time you make it.
But it's fun.
Oh, just put up the damn thing.
Well,
Fine.
since John, I appreciate your contributions to this team very much. But please remember what we're doing.
Asia sort of looks around. She says, "So you all intend to camp here in this place for the night, or I suppose for the afternoon?"
Yes, I think some of our party here was very affected by the rain, and well, I don't want to push them too hard. Well, we don't want to push them too hard. Unless of course it is forbidden to be resting here, and we should go elsewhere.
It is fine. It is a good place to rest. You are surrounded by Emma. You are surrounded by the blessings of Yon Lo. But listen, all of you. It is clear right now. I cannot say how long that will last. And I do not think it would be right to march Bolam once more through the rain. I have brought you here, and if you will be continuing on this way up these steps, and I think it may be my time to separate from you and wish you good luck on this journey you are going on.
Yeah, so will you be okay making the journey back yourself?
Oh, darling, You do not know how many times I have been around. I could traverse the whole of the Isle of Juniper with my eyes closed, though I would rather not. You do not need to worry about me, though I wonder how much I need to worry about you.
Hmm.
We'll be okay. I don't know about those Triceratops, but we'll be okay.
She gives a little nod. She says, Well, I am indeed hoping that I see you once more in the Goon village, and hopefully not before too long. Bolam! Sort of Bolam comes up. Once more he has the eye patch over his one yellow eye. And he sort of looks at you, and his gaze focuses on Notrix and Don. He says, Yes, even so far, it is an experience. Coming with you is a correct thing to do. Right. This is very real. Attacked by wisps, and trees moving along, giant steps appearing in the cliff. It is more real than I am thinking it is going to be. His voice kind of goes low. Is there anything I could do to help before I go?
You already did do a lot to help already. We wouldn't have gotten here without, you know,
Oh,
your big buddy. Wow, what's his name? Don would remember.
Cyron. You know
Siren.
Cyron. He is down there still in the Steel Reef. I could maybe ask if he will come back here. Maybe he could help you a little bit.
He'd be really useful. Yeah. Right? I look at Natrix.
Yes, that might be an interesting idea. But was it not? I can't remember the exact words you used, but was it not a wrong thing for him to be flying around? Didn't you say?
It is maybe not a correct thing, but I am thinking you are maybe not doing entirely correct things, or at least correct things maybe to the monks. But if you are trying to stay out of sight of the monks anyway, Cyron it is a premium turtle.
Hmm. Well, if I think we would gladly accept Siron's continued aid if he and you are willing to give it.
It's the thing I will ask. Guarantees I cannot do, but I will ask, and I will tell him helping you is the correct thing. He kind of looks
Thanks.
towards you and says, I do hope to see you again soon.
Yes, I hope that as well. We will return to your village if everything goes well.
We'll
He
see you
gives a
later.
nod, and Asia kind of looks over to all of you, and she says, Well, once more, good luck. Do not get yourself killed. Hope to see you soon. She and Bolam kind of pull their own packs against them and start trudging away back through the now very damp brush towards the steel fortress.
Safe travels indeed. For all of us.
So, you guys are having a long rest?
Yeah, but
Yes,
first,
we
are
badly need.
there any fallen leaves or branches near Yunlo's tree?
Yeah, Yeah, there are some woody detritus just around. More of it kind of at the base of this platform that's been built around the tree itself.
Yeah, I think I'm going to gather up like some leaves and branches, maybe.
Oh,
All right.
oh,
Yeah, I'll say that you can, easily gather up some leaves. Some branches are going to be a little bit trickier for you to carry around with you.
Um, can I just carry one branch?
Yeah, all right. So, Peyton, you collect some leaves and one smallish branch, kind of more like a very large twig. But Worsened makes a tiny hut. You guys all go in there, fall asleep, and you awaken 8 hours later, and you can now hear that the rain is coming down. Not quite as hard as it was during your trek across the plains, but hard enough that you're gonna get wet when this tiny hut finally fails. You can see the skies are gray above. You look towards the steps. And you can see that they are indeed still there, though they look maybe slightly more treacherous at this point.
Rain! Ah! The forecast is never right! And I cast Druidcraft, but instead of like looking at the little orb, I punt it.
All right, you punt it, seemingly that you ignored the original forecast of being clear for a while and then turning to rain.
Well, they should have been more clear.
Oh then. What time of day is it?
It's like late afternoon right now.
Good afternoon. Okay. I think now is a good time as any to begin ascending these stairs.
Sounds like a plan.
Stairs. You know, you know how rarely I actually use stairs. You know, us wizards, we found out much more effective ways of going to higher levels than stairs. So I haven't actually used stairs in a long time. Well, I used some stairs in on Haradu, I guess, but well, I'm not very used to walking upstairs. That and Peyton just looks around awkwardly. Never mind.
Can you not
Wait.
teleport to the top of these stairs?
Do you fly up?
Wait a minute.
Can wizards fly?
Does that mean that it's true that the Wizard's Tower uses some kind of light beam thing to go up and down from floors? I heard a rumor like that once.
Yes, unless that is not canonical in this setting.
can I what now? Canopy?
Do you use a cannon to go up? Like a circus?
That kind of sounds pretty interesting in a way, you know?
I know you're
Just-
about to make a pun. Or think about it.
Peyton, as you are describing this possibly cannon elevator, your stomach gives a rumble. You're used to a certain amount of comfort in your day to day, including a meal after you rise from a long rest. And you realize that you guys don't actually have any more food or water on you.
Hmm.
We don't have food? Uh-oh. Water's not a problem, but... food part. I don't know how much food we're gonna find up these stairs.
Do any of you have a spell for creating food?
Yes, I do have something like that. I don't think I prepared it. Although, unless this still counts as the long rest, then I can change it now.
Yeah, I'll let you change it for free. It's right at the end of the long rest.
Oh, we also have to roll our hit dice to get.
Oh, yes, that's true. So, you can roll the previous day's hit dice, too, if you want.
Oh,
All right. I apparently have health removal. Okay, that was horrible.
Yeah.
Wait, are we all
Well,
doing that?
anyone who lost health, since you're at the beginning of a new day, I don't think any of you used hit dice the previous day, so you can all roll up to 7 hit dice freely before cutting into your next day's hit
Hey, Ron.
dice. Yes.
Does my bardic feature help here?
Oh, the Song of Rest?
Yes.
I think that's specifically for a short rest.
Yes. So, fine.
I mean, I'll let you say that you guys take an extra hour while you're in here just in the morning, and you can use that.
You know what? Another hit dice, boys. Yeah, that's.
Oh, I didn't lose any health, so I'm fine.
You didn't.
most of the health I lost was because of stepping in the moonbeam. But I was cold and it was warm there, so shut up.
I was heating you up. I did you a favor. You need a little color.
For once. Hey, wait, what?
Look at a little pale.
Not nearly as pale as I was before.
Yeah, that's true. You been tanning?
No, I just stopped living in a place where there was no sun.
Yeah. Living in a place with no sun does that to your skin.
So I do have Goodberry prepared now, and I guess I'll cast this, and the food problem will be solved for right now.
Yeah. Not tricks. Just describe to me what it looks like you casting and distributing Goodberry.
Okay, so at the mention of food, Notrix perks up and just says, "Oh, I have a solution to this." And let's see, he let's see, he holds out his hand, and then he waves his old staff, or not his new one, over the top of it, and 10 berries appear in his hand. And yes, then he distributes them, explains to those who haven't seen this before, well, these are the nourishment of the earth, and they'll sustain us for a day. Although, you probably don't want to live on them
Once
forever.
again, Notrix, you're quite resourceful. Thank you very much.
Yes, well. Guttix always provides. Although, to be honest, you don't want to live on these for too long. Yeah. The lack of any real substance does get to you after a while.
So as you guys each eat your small berry that somehow fills you up, though not very satisfyingly, you sort of all get to your feet. The tiny hut fades, and you guys find yourselves sort of huddling near the base of the tree where it's still dry, though you can see the rain sort of falling around you. What are you guys up to?
Well, I would think that Worsen would just tell Notrix first. Well, whatever they are very good.
Of course. Of course they are.
I
That's,
mean, you're not wrong.
yes, you don't know how many druids have already made that joke.
Well, consider me an honorary druid. That's how this works, right?
Sure.
Yes. I always got the impression that druids were very fond of puns. I don't know, there's just something about them that seems punny.
Have you ever met a white knight?
Not that I can recall.
You want to talk about puns? Yeah.
Well, anyway, climbing these stairs, I think it would be wise, given the wet and the perhaps somewhat treacherous nature of the climb, that we tie ourselves together with some ropes. That way, if anyone falls off, they'll be caught. I believe that's something mountain climbers often do. I believe I've heard of that.
Smart idea.
Although, of course, Don, you hardly need you hardly need to be tied to anything, do you?
Why not? Oh, right.
Yes, you can fly.
Yeah. Obviously.
So, just to be clear, I have a climbing kit in my inventory. Do all of us have that? I don't recall.
Yeah, we did buy 5 of them.
Oh man, I don't remember exactly how many you bought.
I know I said I wanted 5. That doesn't mean we bought 5.
I want to say that you bought 2, but there were 2 harnesses in each.
I know that we ended up having enough climbing equipment for 5 people. That's all I remember.
Okay, well, I'll accept that.
I mean, I wasn't thinking
Okay.
a fancy harness or anything. Just tie a rope around our waist. But if we have fancy harnesses, we can use those.
All right, so you guys tie yourselves together and begin the climb up the steps. As you sort of get out from underneath the tree and into the rain, you can feel it, instantly starting to soak through your robes, through your gum. Yes.
Real quick. So, these climbing ridges, right? This thing we're climbing, the tree.
They're like steps up the cliff, yeah.
So, theoretically speaking, I'm just here for scale. How high would you say each quote-unquote ridge section?
Do you mean like each individual step or like each switchback?
Either. Well, say both anyways.
Okay, so I'd say each individual step is probably around maybe like 35 centimeters. It's about a foot. And for each switchback, probably switches back, say every 50 feet.
Okay, so
Like every 15 meters.
Okay. So, if
Oh, no.
theoretically something jumps from one spot to the other, would they be able to land?
Jumping 50 feet?
Answer your question.
I'm pretty sure
Well-
Full Control isn't a spell that exists in this game, Rom.
I was thinking of another thing, but okay. So, hear me out on this idea. Okay?
No.
See, our
Not a
person
featherfall either.
who says I don't. Anyways, wait, I don't have it. Crap. Oh, okay. So, Rond, are you listening? This is kind of
I'm here.
well. You know how Worsen has a special little feat which he can like be kind of float up there,
What feast
right?
this?
Um, does he?
I want to be vague about it, but
Hold on. Let me look at your character sheet because I'm not remembering what this is.
or do you want me to just spell it? All right, I'll spell it out. So
Oh, okay. I see. I see. I'm looking at your character sheet.
theoretically speaking, use that continuously up this. Now you're probably wondering, how am I going to activate it? Well, it doesn't specify what kind of thing I do, so the way I'm imagining it is worsened casts each time he does this prestidigitation to make it look like something propelled him upwards.
That's only 10 feet at a time, right?
I know, yeah. I was curious if I can kind of like use that through the entire.
So to like fake flying?
Yes.
Okay, you fall way more than 10 feet in 6 seconds.
I just offered it. I didn't really actually mean to do it.
I mean, that probably will be useful if you say end up slipping and falling, but you can't use that to fly.
Rip the dream.
Not all of us can have wings. Sorry, buddy.
I mean, if the problem is you're falling, you don't have enough lift to overcome the falling that happens, then Featherfall could help. Although you still fall a bit with Featherfall, so probably not.
If he casts Featherfall, do you think that Dawn would be able to pick someone up and drag them upwards because of how light they are?
Oh, that's very interesting. I'd probably make Dawn do a roll for it.
Yeah, maybe like a strength roll, right?
Probably.
I kind of think the spell description on Featherfall is worded in such a way to make stuff like that not possible, but hey, you could always attempt it. I think it has some very careful wording on it.
I imagine we're talking while we're walking, by the way.
I'll also mention that this isn't like you're not scaling a sheer cliff face, you're walking upstairs.
Yes, we can just walk, we don't need to fly.
Oh, then what's the point of this whole. God damn it.
That's what I was wondering why. I'm like, I realize they're just stairs, right?
Okay.
Worston wanted to be too showy.
Have you
Okay.
climbed upstairs? I don't blame him. Stairs suck.
I mean,
Okay,
it's
well-
not like it's the first time that Worsend has, pulled out a jackhammer to deal with a simple problem.
Can I still use dancing lights as I'm climbing this?
That's
Of course you can.
I don't see why you would, but you can.
I mean, light is nice. It's probably dark out
Yeah.
there now, right?
I want to trip on a stair.
Aren't there already wisps along the path?
The wisps seem to have dissipated by now.
Okay. Lots and lots of
So, all right. So 5 of you, sans Dawn, tie yourselves together and begin climbing your way up up these fairly steep steps. You're guided by the light of the 3 sort of dancing lights conjured. Or is it 3 or is it 4? At any rate, the dancing lights conjured by Werson kind of illuminating your path as the sun starts to get lower in the sky, though you can't really see the sun where it is right now. The rain is soaking through your goom robes and sort of into your skin, though you're still making your way at a steady clip. I want to ask, who is in the lead right now?
I guess Notrix would be, unless someone else wants to be.
All right, so Notrix is in the lead. Who's in the back?
I'm thinking Worsen is in the middle, so we could make the dancing lights equally across the entire park.
Yeah, I think Peyton is probably near the back because he's an old man.
Alcana is probably closer to the
He's
front.
walking upstairs.
Don's giving him encouraging words. Like, you can do it. Come on.
Actually, I think it'd be better to have Alistair behind Peyton, so that if Peyton, because he's an old man, kind of just needs help getting up the steps, have someone behind him.
What a gentleman.
All right. I need everyone to roll either an acrobatics or an athletics check. Oh,
Oh,
everyone
dear.
except Dawn.
Well,
That's
yeah,
right.
because, well,
Of course.
And this is a very easy check.
of course you say that and something terrible is going to end up happening anyway, because that's just how fate works.
I mean, Sep rolled a natural too.
Don't worry, we have rope.
Oh, wait, I need to roll for Arcana. Hold.
Yep.
Yo, Peyton did good. Like, Alistair's in the back, like, helping Peyton, but in reality, Peyton's helping Alistair.
Oh,
Well,
Yo!
Sorry, I kind
I-
of got sidetracked by a cat.
Yeah, I was scared that was going to be a natural one, but it wasn't. Okay, so you guys, surprisingly expertly, and especially with Alcana sort of right behind Notrix, sort of helping to guide the rest of you, and with the light of Werson's illumination, you guys manage to make your way sort of up one flight, then the next, then the next. Eventually, you can see that you're rising near what appears to be the top of the tree, rising up almost onto the top of this mountain until you finally find your way, even as the steps themselves become more slippery, the dust creating them sort of a little bit more sludge-like. Manage to work your way around until you come to this flat-topped felsic mountain range. You can see now the mountains are no longer next to you, no longer above you. You are on top of them. You can see that the peaks rise slightly more to your south. You can also clearly see the rain does not feel so heavy this high up. You can see sort of the silhouette of the great volcano of Washan in the distance. This rock itself, it's a very light color, almost startlingly white on the top, the color of bone, and it's not so much a rocky ridge as much as it is a plateau. You can see, even from here, that it's pocked by these occasional, what look like steaming vents here and there. And you can see that it seems to sort of dip sharply at one point, ways to the south of you, but it looks like you could actually make your way along the top of this ridge surprisingly easily. It's still going to be a little bit of a trek, but it's not as not really the mountaineering that you might have expected, being on top of what you know as the Shield of Suzaku.
Well, what time of day is it now? I guess it's just a little bit later.
Yeah. as you got to the top of the ridge, making your way up those steps, it took a little while. Probably you had to stop to rest a couple times for Peyton, and by now it was sort of late afternoon when you started. Now it's definitely kind of early evening. It's a bit dark now.
And remind me, concerning the rogue, what time did we ask? What time of day that was around? What, I can't remember the details.
The rope?
Well, last session we
Like when
we
we
asked
started?
asked the hunters, like, what time of day did different creatures, were different creatures active, and I can't remember if we asked about the rogue, the giant bird.
Oh, the rogue.
I
I
would usually
don't-
pronounce them the rock.
I would as well.
I've been saying rogue.
Yeah, I know.
I
Oh.
like saying rogue more than rock. I know that most people say rock, but whenever I say rock, I just imagine like a big rock flying through like an actual, huge stone boulder. And yeah, I like saying rogue.
I thought of Fast and Furious, but
Anyways, did you ask about the rogue?
We asked about the T-Rex. Well, it doesn't matter too much anyway. I'm sure we can deal with it if it appears. Well, sure. Well, we don't want to be staying here for hours anyway, so we're going to be walking across the plateau now, whether it is rogue time or not rogue time.
All right,
Yeah,
so
if it will be rock time, we couldn't stop it because it can't stop for.
as you look across the landscape below you, sort of the dim silhouettes of the trees disappearing into the haze of the rain, I want to ask, which one of you is guiding the charge at this point? You guys will be walking sort of to the northeast along the top of this, well, assuming that you guys are heading to the Draft Hollows.
oh yeah.
All right, just making sure that you guys aren't doing something else kooky.
Oh
no,
no,
we're
we're
just
actually
heading
We're not
straight
doing
south.
any.
the very, very top of the mountain, and we're going to go there because we want to have a good view of the entire island. And I'm just kidding.
Hey guys, look! I see the Triceratops. Let's go. Let's go get him.
So I want to ask, which one of you is going to be sort of leading this journey?
Does our resident ranger want to say anything?
No.
Okay.
Don could always Well, thing is, we're kind of on a mountain, right? I don't
Right.
think you really need Don for aerial support when it comes to scouting forward.
Yeah, well, I vote for Notrix leading on because I think it just looks a lot better if a person with the staff is at the front.
True.
Because, it looks very cool. When they take each step with the staff, it looks sort of, I don't know, it just looks
Cinematic.
cool, cinematic. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I do technically have,
Basically, Peyton is channeling Gandalf.
Yes.
I do technically have two staffs.
You have two on what? Both hands. One and two. Both
Well-
hands. Yes.
Hang on, I just need to think of 1 second.
It's like you're skiing, but walking.
Ron, is the staff of Gielinor, is that a druidic spell focus?
I believe that you can use it. Does it say that on the sheet?
It doesn't say it, but it sounds like it would be.
It does sound like it would be, but you do have a means of turning it into a druidic spell focus.
I do, but that's I was just thinking maybe he wants this staff back at some point. Once we're finished, so I don't want to do something that drastic.
I'll also say I think druids can literally use a sprig of holly as a spell focus, so producing a new spell focus isn't actually, I think, going to be so difficult, even though actually you did have a very hard time of it early on in the campaign.
Well,
I mean, paladins have to specifically find a holy symbol. You've got a lot more options.
Yeah, I'll say that you can use Yunlo as a spell focus.
Hooray! Well, I'll put my old staff away for the time being then, because it looks ridiculous with 2 staffs. And I care about his image. Okay, well,
right.
yes, if our rank isn't going to speak up, Notrix will be the one leading the party.
All right, so Notrix, as you are leading the party sort of along this ridge, I want you to go ahead and roll a survival check for me.
Well,
Oof.
Oh. So, as you guys start wending your way along the ridge, trying to find your way north. And at one point, Notrix, you find what seems to be a sort of a clearer path that wends down the center of the of this ridge. As you try to follow it, it slowly gets steeper and steeper until you realize that you are sort of nearly having to press yourselves against the wall as you look out over what now looks like nighttime across the island. And as you hear that, you also start hearing these sort of caws overhead. There's caw, caw, caw. Don't sound like the Rogue, but you feel that if you're going to go any further this direction, or even to go back, that you're going to have a bit of a hard time.
I'm not sure this was the right way.
Huh?
Well, I think I've got enough.
Why do you think that?
Well, it doesn't seem particularly traversable here. I guess we can try, but it looks quite steep.
You know, if need be, me and 4 others could just jump, and I could cast a spell so we'd float safely downwards.
Well, we don't need to do anything.
You hear somewhere above you, much louder than you would have expected to hear. Oh, 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 oh.
Can Notrix look up and see if he can actually see the source of this noise?
Sure. Roll a perception check with disadvantage.
And Dawn hides because
Stop.
birds.
Ah,
I said stop, but never mind.
Yeah, you look up and you still got rain coming down on you. It's difficult to see what's there.
well, maybe I should roll on the botch table.
Oh, sure. If you want to. If you want to take a point of inspiration and roll on the botch table, go ahead.
Ah, it's always fun. Let's have a look.
Of course, it's a biological thing, so he can't see the bird and he just pukes.
Wow.
Oh!
So, Notrix, you sort of look up and you sort of reassure everyone that you can see exactly what's up there. You kind of move your neck up and strain your eyes and kind of wag your arms until you sort of snag yourself in your own overly loose-fitting goom tunic, and you feel yourself starting to teeter on this ledge. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Wait, before you do.
Oh,
God.
And you watch as Notrix sort of gets his knee tangled in this tunic and starts to tip over the side of this ledge. Oh wait, are you guys still tied together?
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
All right, Alcana, I need you to make a strength save.
Oh,
Oh boy!
Ah!
Can we stop?
And I want to use. Wait, yeah, use your bard thing.
Yeah, you know, one of our party members is falling to their death, and our bard is just like, vim, vim, vim.
Yeah, Alcana, that you just barely manage to grip on, sort of find your fingers some tiny piece of purchase in the ledge as you see Notrix kind of dangling right below you. And right now you feel like you can hold this, but it's going to be some effort to pull him back up. In Notrix, you are just sort of hanging freely, your arms and one leg just sort of tied up in your horrible loose-fitting goom tunic.
Oh.
Okay.
Guys, can you stop hanging about down there?
It's a serious person!
And again, you hear loudly in the darkness, "Whoo! Whoo!"
What the hell is that? Alice
I
is gonna
don't
try to
know,
figure
ask
out
the
what it is.
druid!
I cast a guidance on Alcana, so she has a +4 to any strength check she's about to take. You know, wink wonk.
All right. So, Alcana, you've got Notrix dangling. Are you going to try to pull him back up?
Well, duh!
All right. Go ahead and roll an athletics check for me.
Notrix should be pretty light for a person.
And after that, do a 1d4.
Yeah, add a 1d4.
Add a 7 if it's not enough.
Hell yeah.
Well,
We're
add
at
that
the
1d4 first.
Oh, of course.
Then a 7. So 8.
All right. So you sort of strain, sort of having to do it with one arm, and you do eventually manage to pull Notrix barely sort of thumps onto the ledge beside you. As you guys are watching, worsened, you see as suddenly out of the darkness this flurry of wings coming right towards you, and you suddenly take 10 slashing damage as this giant owl that's bigger than any of you just dashes itself nearly against the rock, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as well.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Wait, me?
Say
Yes.
good, Chief!
Athletics.
Dexterity saving throw. I'll let you do strength saving throw alternately.
No. You see?
Yes, and you manage to sort of hold on to the side of the ledge as this owl sort of just, its talons rip across the front of your tunic, tearing it and doing, biting into your side, but then it just sort of flaps off, and then you're not sure where it's gone.
Are you
Hey!
sure I could?
We're walking here!
Are you sure I could? Could it be hit by an attack of opportunity, perhaps?
Not an owl.
I don't think it works like that.
And plus, this owl has flyby.
Oh, good.
No
it is an owl.
opportunity attacks, bitch.
That's a good
Oh,
thing
good.
about owls.
Thanks for telling us it's an owl.
Yeah, you
Oh,
better
man.
fly away before we
Yeah,
make you lick the
Alistair
pavement.
mentions to you that he saw it and thought it was a giant owl.
A giant owl. Oh. The irony if it had attacked me.
Right. So you guys are here huddled on this ledge. What are you guys doing?
Can I insult the owl with vicious mockery, saying, "You call that a flyby? I heard better flyby is from pigeon."
I'll let you. That's a saving throw, right?
Yes.
I'll let you try to do that, but I'm going to give it an advantage on its saving throw since you can't really see exactly where it is.
As long as I get to insult it.
How wise are owls? Can it do a wisdom save?
Well,
You-
actually,
And yeah, you just sort of yell this into the darkness, and you're not even sure if this owl even heard you. Just hear sort of a flap somewhere in the sky above you.
Whereas stop insulting the wildlife.
Are you kidding me? Oh wait, right. You would say that. You're kind of connected to animals.
Meanwhile, Alistair's trying to untangle Notrix from whatever the hell he got himself into.
Yes.
Listened! What did I tell you?
I'd
You
like
want me?
I'd like to get untangled.
Notrix, I'm gonna say roll either a sleight of hand or an athletics check, or acrobatics check with advantage. Yeah, and you manage to sort of find your way out of this knot that you've somehow managed to tie yourself into. You know, breathing heavily from the effort. There's not a lot of room here to maneuver. You just look once more into the darkness in front of you, and it seems still for now, though you're not really sure what could be lurking out there.
Okay, well now that that's over, shall we? Well, can we continue moving forward, or was it completely impossible? I think I'm not sure.
You can continue moving forward, though you can tell that it's going to be a bit of a difficult trek to keep going this way.
But you also mentioned that it's also difficult going backwards.
Yeah, it's difficult either way. I'd say you can tell there's going to be a whole lot more of this, not owl attacks, but a whole lot more of difficult narrow ledges going forward than there are going backwards.
So, aside from Dawn, we're 5 people, right?
That's right.
Ah, should be fine then.
Well,
I guess Peyton just tells the others he has Featherfall and he can stop at least 5 people from falling to their deaths, and since Dawn can fly, we should be safe.
well, I think in character I've already rolled the survival check, so Notrix thinks that this is the right way to go, so he's going to continue going this way.
All right. Notrix, I'd like you to go ahead and roll another survival check, and I'd like everyone to roll either acrobatics or athletics checks.
And I give my inspiration to Notrix.
Hooray.
Wow, that's 1 acrobatic old man.
I don't know if I needed it, but I did it for fun.
Welp.
Oh.
So, Notrix, you can tell after another few minutes of maneuvering your way along this ledge that you haven't really been going the right way, but you get the sense that you can maybe course correct back to where you originally came from. So you direct everyone to start easing back the way they came. And as they do, worsen, you step on what must have been a loose bit of stone and start tumbling over the side. Worsen, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Welp. Welp.
And
No!
you see that he sort of falls completely off of the this part of the ledge. I need Peyton and Alcana to both go ahead and make their own either dexterity or strength saves.
Oh boy, I wonder how the old wizard's gonna. Oh shit.
You see as Alcana and Peyton both sort of pulled down by the weight of Worsen tumbling off the edge of this cliff, start sliding themselves. All right, Alistair and Notrix, I need both of you to make either strength or dexterity saves.
Hey, catch me!
Oh my god!
And
No!
go tumbling off the side of this cliff in the rain, the darkness around you. You start tumbling, you feel yourselves bash against the side of the cliff as you start falling as this single thing, sort of gyrating wildly together, tied together by this rope. Are any of you guys doing anything as you're now in free fall?
Can I use my reaction to cast Featherfall on everyone except Don?
Yes.
Yeah, so just sort of to make this as badass as possible while Peyton is in free fall, his rune pouch is not completely tied closed, so some runes sort of start floating up as he's falling, and he just grabs them with one hand and casts the spell.
Dope.
All right, yeah, he grabs these free-falling runes, and as he does, all of you, you've started to nearly be battered by the side of this cliff, and then you just start falling much, much more gently. And Dawn, you can see sort of from above all of these jokers sort of drifting towards the ground in the darkness. As you do, you guys can see sort of the canopy of the trees sort of dimly lit just by the stars below you.
Lit? Oh, by the stars, never mind.
Yeah. And you start to sink and sink till you finally find yourselves on a firm ground once more. But looking back behind you at the cliffs as they now sort of rise up from the side of the shield of Suzaku, and you realize that you have not made the progress you thought you would, and you are now just on the ground, no longer atop the plateau.
Right.
You all okay?
Probably.
Anyone dead?
I think we're all fine, though. I think we lost a lot of ground with that tumble.
Alistair just kind of jumps up, walks right over to Worse, and looks down at him. Could you please watch where the fuck you're going?
Worsened suddenly looks around with his eyes closed and says, "Wait, you guys can watch?"
Alcana, I'm going to kill him. I swear I'm going to kill him.
As much as these antics has been testing my patience lately, and I can't really have that done in good conscience, but Worsened, please, for the love of Sarah Doman, get yourself together. And then she kind of goes ahead and just gives him a light slap across the cheek.
Roll attack. No.
Holy shit.
Can I attempt to dodge it?
Sure. In that case, I'm gonna have Alcana go ahead and roll strength, and I'm gonna have Worsened go ahead and roll dexterity.
Just for the record, if he dodges it, Alistair's going to try again anyway.
All right.
Oof.
So strength from Alcana, dexterity from Worsened.
Oof.
No!
Yeah.
Worsened, can I just Worsened steps
Sure.
to the side? Worsened steps to the side and shrugs and says, "What? You really thought I was just gonna stand there and take it?"
My turn!
All right, Alistair, roll dexterity, and this time I'm going to let you take advantage because Worsened has just barely dodged out of the way.
And he quoted Sans Undertale.
Hush. Oof.
And you managed to make contact. What does that look like?
So just as Worsen steps to the side to dodge out of the way of Alcana's slap, all he feels on the side that he moved towards is the back of Alistair's hand hitting him.
I guess then instead of doing the full thing, he was just gonna, at the end, he was just gonna say, "Oh, didn't expect a 2-on-1 there." No, seriously. That's kinda unfair, ain't it?
Right.
Did you not process the entirety of what just happened, Worsened?
How?
Let's see. A bird attacked me. Notrix failed to entice, to guide us, and you all failed to catch us all back. Good job, y'all. Proud of you. Kind of.
So, how far does it look like we fell if we look up and, see?
Looking up, the cliffs that you are on are just dark silhouettes high above you. You get the sense that there's really no easy way of scaling this the mountainside. You could perhaps try, but you get the sense that you're probably better off just trying to continue on foot this way. But it seems that you've actually fallen back onto the western side of the mountains and back into the forest that you traversed before.
Yeah, so we're completely on the western side. It's not like we're in some sort of valley in between where we have to scale either way.
No, you're not in a valley in between.
Listen, you idiot.
Oh, don't you start.
What did I do?
If I were not a holy woman, I would have beaten you senseless.
That
Okay.
doesn't laugh I do. Julia does.
Listen, you up there. You better make sure you stay at least 6 feet above me. Because I swear, fairy boy, when I get my hands on you...
Why are you taking it out on me? It was his fault. I point at Worsen.
Hey, you know what would be nice? Not blaming each of us. That'll be nice. I don't know. Just throwing.
All right then. I think the point has been made. Everyone calm down now. Let us figure out where we are and where we need to go.
But I'm still right, you know.
Yeah. This time I'm going to let anyone who wants to go ahead and make a survival check.
Since we're in the forest, maybe.
Finally, something
Never mind.
good.
Screw it. Notrix is good.
Oh yeah, Notrix. You immediately look around the trees, and while you didn't pass this exact point on your way in, you realize, just judging from the feel of the island, from the shape of the mountains above you, you realize exactly where you are, and kind of going north and east, you'll get back to the river that the Goon people call the Duhay, which supposedly goes right to the Draft Hollows.
Don't worry, guys. I know where we are. That was bad, but it's not an insurmountable loss.
Trix, tell the truth. You wanted to pull a prank, right? That's not how you pull pranks, silly.
What?
You know, like a joke. I do it all the time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sometimes neither do I. Now lead us to victory.
Okay.
So, Notrix, as you begin leading your party back through this forest, Alistair's talents as a ranger and now some familiarity with the terrain kind of helping you to sidestep what would otherwise be a difficult path. I wanted to ask, are you doing anything in particular? Whether in your methods or in anything else that you're looking for?
I don't think there's anything in particular.
All right. So in that case, because you guys are going to be walking for another 3 hours at least in the rain, I want everyone to roll another Constitution save. But because Notrix got a natural 20, I'm going to let you all do this Constitution save with advantage. And this one includes Dawn.
Aww. No free pass. It's okay.
Well, I got 6.
Oh, now I get a good roll.
So, as you guys sort of trudge through the forest, occasionally hearing little hisses and whispers and hoots through these darkened trees, Notrix seems to walk with an more purpose than you've seen before, until you can hear in the distance sort of the rushing of water of what sounds like a small fall, and the river seems familiar to you, though worsened as you are trudging, sort of lifting up your legs to step over this dry brush. You know, you're a lover, not a fighter. All this trudging and back-breaking marching in the night gets to you, and you take a point of exhaustion worsened.
I'm not a forest man. I should have prepared to be a forest man. Nortrix, why didn't you tell me I need to be a forest man?
Listen, we walked through this forest like the entire time when we first got to this island. Why is it any different now?
Because that forest was more bambooish. This forest is more tree.
We were here just a few days ago.
Notrix, as you lead the party out of a copse of juniper trees, you finally catch sight once more of the Duhe River and see where there's almost like a small fall down the side of the mountain. And then you stop because you spot something glowing near the top of where the water seems to come from. And it seems to glide on the top of the water and then off of it onto the plains. Then another one. Then another one. And you realize you're seeing the same glowing herd of galloping creatures that you saw several nights previous.
Oh.
Yeah.
Far away?
Pretty close to you, actually. But it's up to you guys whether you want to get closer. Right now, it seems like they're galloping sort of almost from the top of the sort of unseen source of the river over it and then onto the plains and then directly west.
So they're not running towards us.
No, they seem to be ignoring you guys right now.
Well, then let's just keep it that way.
Yeah, I suppose this. No, I can't think of any particular reason why I would want to go disturb them.
I'm a little curious what they are. We probably should have asked.
Well, we did ask. It was what we did. We got a bit of an explanation.
We asked
Yeah.
Bible? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, they were described to you as Longma.
Oh. Do they say whether or not they're dangerous?
I don't think that you were told whether they were dangerous or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we just got told their name.
So, as you guys are here, you sort of see the base of the river. You see kind of what seems to be the water trickling, or in some places nearly pouring down the side of this cliff. You can see where the river follows out into more of an open plain, though you're a bit too far of a distance to see where the wreck of Akira's ship was. That's several miles further on. Want to ask, what are you guys doing?
So like, when you're exhausted and you're still like trudging through the forest, how bad is it?
I mean, it's not like you can't walk. It's not like your speed is halved or anything, but it's just you feel each of those steps, and you know your mind is unfocused. If you have to do something like try to be especially skillful, you're gonna have a hard time.
Is it noticeable for like, can you tell that somebody's getting like exhausted from this?
Yeah, I'd say that that Alistair and Notrix can definitely tell.
Alistair sees that Worsen has been having a bit of trouble walking, keeping up with the rest of the group, so he kind of goes up to him, just throws Worsen's arm across his shoulders and says, "Come on, buddy. We need to get going. And looks like you might have hurt your foot when you fell."
Oh well, I'm not drunk yet. Orson is kind of feeling a bit loopy at the moment.
Look, he kind of leans in, says it really quietly so nobody else can hear. I'm sorry I yelled at you. That falling wasn't your fault.
Well, I don't need you to be sorry for things like that.
Are you okay?
He just giggles.
So, Notrix, where are you focusing now that you are looking at this scene? You see that kind of where the river starts, it's a little bit away from the nearest copse of trees. There are sort of tall grasses around, and it goes right up to, as I said, falling water down the side of the cliffs. There are sort of several large kind of rocky protrusions near the base of the mountains that are very fully overgrown with juniper trees. What are you up to?
Well, looking at this scene, is there any signs of smuggler activity here? Have they built any temporary structures when they were operating in the area? I'm guessing you wouldn't see footprints from this distance or anything, especially with the rain. But is there any sign of things happening?
Yeah, nothing immediately obvious on that front, but if you want to, you can roll I'll say an investigation check.
Yeah, might as well.
Hey guys, why does the ground feel all mushy?
It's raining.
Yeah, you don't find anything, Notrix.
Okay.
Is anyone else investigating this area? Or are you guys just,
I would say no.
sitting down and playing jacks?
I like Jax. But no, I think we just keep going, right?
I mean, I guess Alistair could try to look around, but I mean, he kind of has a Worsen leaning on him. So
Oh! You know what? Can Don just look around and see if he could find any food, like berries or stuff like that? Because he does have purified food ready, so if he finds any kind of berries, they might be poisonous, but he could always de-poison them.
Sure, roll an investigation check for Don.
Let me see. Investigation. Damn it.
Yeah, you don't find anything that looks like berries. You find some sort of little protrusions off of some of the bushes that look like maybe they could be edible nuts, though you're not completely certain if they're really edible or not.
Nuts. Anything's edible if it's not poisonous.
I'm also going to say that, yeah, I'm saying that Alistair can still investigate even if he's supporting Worsens.
Can we say Worsen is actually his handicap, so it won't beg for advantage?
Oh, that Worsens is helping him investigate?
Yes. Worsen is just, being his doofy.
delirious, loopy. Yeah, okay, sure.
I'll say that you're helping, but I'm going to say that Alistair doesn't get advantage from that because Worsens is also exhausted and probably is pointing out just as much wrong stuff as he is right stuff.
Yeah, look. That looks like a great rock.
All right, so Alistair, you actually do very well. As you're sort of looking around the area, you notice a Dawn near a just what looks like a cluster of what must be some horrible, just barky protrusion on a bush. And you point to right over his head, and Dawn looks up and sees that there are all of these very lush blue berries growing off of a juniper tree right above him. As you continue looking around, you spot something very interesting. You spot sort of towards very close to the base of this sort of half fall that feeds the river, what looks like a carving, a very old carving, and you almost miss it because it's half buried in the dust. But as you clear it away, you can see it looks like the figure of what looked like the carving itself is very crude, definitely not made by someone with a lot of artistic talent. But what looks sort of like it looks like an artistic representation of the river and what look like four-legged horned things that might be unicorns. And you see a shape that's maybe a rock leaning against a surface. And it says underneath that, in a language that you speak, in Goblin, to peak past leaning rocks.
To peek past leaning rocks. What the hell? Worsen, do you see? Wait, never mind.
Worsen sees it but doesn't want to comment.
Does Don see it because he's close to them, or no?
I'd say that Don could see it, but Don wouldn't know what any of it means.
Weird. Notrix did say something about finding murals up here, but I thought it'd be more on the trail.
Wait a minute. This is written in Goblin. Why the hell? The orbs. When the
Huh?
the goblins.
Eh?
This mural here, the text is
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Yeah, the text is written in the Goblin language. I was wondering how that got here. I guess that means that it must have been put here. Whatever this means. Well,
Alcana, I'd like Alcana to roll a perception check with advantage.
Oh boy!
Alcana, as you walk over to Alistair and listen to this, and you look at the carving at the base of the river, you realize that its style is very, very similar to a carving that you've seen before, that you've studied in great depth.
That seems almost too familiar.
Where do you recognize it from?
I can't tell you off of the top of my head, but I think it was somewhere under the Ashdale Caverns, if I recall correctly.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it isn't. Let's just say that once I remember wandering in there as a young child, having gotten lost there for a while, and having seen those impressions on the wall. Well, and only to come later to them as an adult when things had, well, it was definitely a horror greater than my younger mind could have foreshadowed. But enough on that.
So, Alistair, what do you think this is? What is it saying?
What does it look like again?
So you see what look like, so almost stick figures, what looks like it's a depiction of the river, and it seems to go sort of past the point where it is. Like you can see there's sort of a point that seems to depict the falls that you're standing next to, and then it continuing past that, presumably somewhere up above in the mountains. You see what seem to be like stick figure depictions of unicorns, and you see what looks like a sort of a surface, like a sheer vertical surface with several large shapes kind of leaning against it.
Leaning against what?
It's hard to tell. Though actually, I'll say with that 26 investigation, as you look up and try to give your interpretation to Notrix, you notice that it looks quite similar to one of these rock formations that's sort of not too far a distance away, sort of jutting up towards the base of the mountains where it's very overgrown with juniper trees.
To peek past leaning rocks. Those creatures that we had seen before that we've seen running around out here, didn't we say that they looked like unicorns, or is that just me?
They did resemble unicorns. There definitely weren't unicorns, but they resembled them.
Can't help but wonder if this is actually meant to symbolize those creatures instead. And whatever the peak is, if they're the ones going to it. Goblin was always a difficult language because they skip a few words.
Well, you say it's 2 peak past leaning rocks. Well, to me that sounds like directions.
True, but why the unicorns then? Or whatever those things are drawn here.
Well,
Yeah, look, it has a little horn.
didn't the ancient Ceredonis who came here, they brought unicorns with them, didn't they? As mounts.
That would make sense, yes.
I don't know why they would represent them on a plaque like this, but I don't know any. I don't really know goblins.
Maybe it means we're heading the right direction. If
Yeah,
we find 2 peaks, then we'll know that we've been where they've been.
So, how far away does the peak that looks like the drawing? How far away is it?
It's not very far away at all, maybe 50, 100 feet.
Yeah, so those are the leaning rocks that we should go to, I think. I mean, unless you want to try and... Well, I think it's at least worth investigating, whatever this message is. Perhaps we'll find more traces of the expedition.
Yes, and that might give us some clues as to how that went, and that might give us some lessons that we can learn from when we do our own thing.
Or it leads
Sure.
right into the hollow itself, which is also something we should know the way to get to.
Yes, either outcome or both together would be nice.
I guess Alistair will just go investigate over by where that seems to be. Yes, sure.
All right, so as you get closer to these rock formations, it gets harder and harder to sort of maneuver around the thick sort of juniper and japonica bushes. As you get closer, you can see that this rock formation that's about 30 feet tall actually seems to be sort of jutted up against the side of the cliff of the mountains at an angle, sort of almost forming like an open triangle below it. Or at least it would be open if it weren't completely overgrown with japonica and juniper. And before you can get all the way up to it, it seems like you reach a place where it's just impassable with all of these bushes.
Can he try cutting them?
Sure, if that's what you want to do.
Though I only have my daggers, so I don't think I have anything to cut them with. Shit.
Well, I think we've been in this situation before. I think I should cast. Well, I'll need to spend a foresight to prepare the spell again. But if there's plants in the way, I know a spell that can help there.
Oh yeah, deja vu.
All right. So, what's Notrix doing?
Okay, so if I understand correctly, we're just trying to get up here, and there's a bunch of the juniper and such is getting too thick to pass. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's very very similar to last time. Notrix reaches out his, well, I suppose it would be the staff, and says a line in Druidic. And as he says this, the the branches of the trees bend just a little bit back, and well,
Yeah,
it
the
moves a bit.
branches bend back. Yeah, the bushes sort of almost seem to shy away, and as they do, sort of the space below this leaning rock that was completely inundated with plant life, with flora, clears up, and you can see clearly, starting from right underneath it, what seems to be a very, very roughly hewn path right in the rock that extends upward at a steady slope, seemingly into the mountains.
Guys.
Well,
Yes? Did you find something?
Yeah, I think I found a way, into the mountain. Literally.
Oh, excellent! Good catch on both of your parts.
well, this certainly can't be the path the smugglers have been taking. It's way too overgrown for that.
Unless the smugglers wanted to get underground.
No. They wouldn't have been able to pass through this stuff without someone like Notrix here to get the trees to move out of their way.
Is it
True.
very very dusty in here? Like, is there any signs of anyone going through here recently, like footprints in the dust?
Yeah, you look around. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Oh, if it helps, Alistair would probably pull out his lantern and try to light it to see if, light helps.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So you look around Notrix, you start to go underneath this rock. You do not see anything that looks like footprints. You don't see any human debris. It looks like this particular path has not been trodden in a very long time.
Dancing lights, spin around. Come collect your.
What are you singing back to? Oh.
No, it's nice and bright now.
Yes, thank you. Oh, worsened. I'm sorry, I was too harsh to you earlier. The stress of this place can really get to you, and well, I said some things I shouldn't have. Can you forgive me?
Dancing lights, they're all pretty and they're bright.
I think he's pretty out of it still.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
as a
I'll ask him when he's more in it then.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to object to us climbing these stairs.
Yeah, they're not stairs. It's more, a steep, steady incline that's up what seems to be a carved divot in the mountains themselves. But unless there's any opposition, you guys, led by Notrix, start walking up. And this time there are no steep edges, no ledges. You find your way, walking about a half hour, seeming to almost curve around until it seems you are back, sort of the wind blowing through your hair. And it seems like you're actually at a point right now where the rain has abated for at least a minute. And you can see that you have come to the top of not only the Shield of Suzaku, but where there seems to be another, like a valley, sort of narrow valley right down the center of the Shield of Suzaku. You can hear the heavy sound of running water from somewhere in the darkness below. And Alistair, as you get to the top, to the ends of this path, you immediately see another one of these roughly carved places in the stone. It seems to have similar wavy lines that you saw below that seem to represent the river. And it says next to that in Goblin, "Follow down." And you see that this carving is right next to this sort of valley right down the middle of the shield of Suzaku.
Does anybody know where that sound of water is coming from?
I can't say I do know.
Oh, what would the fight out? Huh?
Well, it's coming from in this valley, isn't it?
Well, the note here says follow down.
I could fly down before we, Well, is it like a climb or what is it like? Is it
From here, I'd say it seems like you can sort of scramble sort of into this valley. And then from there, it gets a bit dark. It's a little bit difficult to tell exactly what's beyond that.
What time of night is it now? I'm guessing it's...
Yeah, right now it's probably like 1 a.m, maybe, or maybe midnight.
I was just wondering whether it's a good idea to wait until daytime so we can see the whole valley properly.
I mean, how big is the space up here where we are now?
You've got plenty of space where you are. It seems like like that path led to sort of a little bit of a plateau on top of the shield.
It's a similar place to where we were before, is it?
Right, yeah. This whole mountain, it has kind of an odd character to it where, especially from the top, it's all sort of white and smooth. It's, not like a typical mountain that you may have been more used to in the West.
Is it big enough where we could camp out up here?
It is, yes.
I think that's what we should do then.
I'm thinking that Okana would concur with this plan.
I'm just trying to think if there's a time sensitive thing we should rush into, but
it should be worth noting that we're back in the territory where the smugglers told us that operating between 11 and 4 is the optimal time because that's when the monks don't. But also we're up on a cool... How high up is this place?
As you sort of go over to the edge and look down at the forest below, it looks like you're at least several hundred feet up.
Oh, never mind, they can't get to us, we're fine.
Unless it flies.
yeah, I think I don't think we should be particularly concerned about things attacking us unless it's the rogue, because I mean that's the most obvious thing because it flies.
So, are you guys camping out here?
If Orson can make a tiny hut that'll hide us, I think we'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'd really like to get a good view of the valley in daylight before we walk down into it.
All right. So, you conjure this hut. You guys all sort of crowd in, waiting for the daylight to come to this place. And with that, let's go ahead and take a little break. Okay. So, you guys awake, 8 hours later. It's you slept a little bit earlier than you had the night before, than you had before, just in general. Partly just you got tired far more quickly from the long trek this way. And when you awake, it's actually sort of the light of morning, though it's not really that light. You wake to gray skies, though it seems that the rain has stopped for now. The air does not seem as humid, as pregnant, though you do, as you look through the transparent walls of the tiny hut, hear a very low roll of thunder in the distance. You don't see any critters about right now.
No critters. Well, I think we should get up and have a look at this valley, see if we can see any more details.
All right, so you guys get your make your way out of the tiny hut. Oh yeah, and also once more you find yourselves without food or water. Or well, oh no, wait, sorry, Don did find some berries.
Berries, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Like passes out like shitty acorns, and he's all proud of himself. Look, they're edible. I picked them myself. And also, I use a spell on them, so don't worry, they're clean.
All right. So I want to ask, who is investigating the valley, this
Probably-
ravine?
It'd probably be best
I'm
for
thinking
either...
Arcana would definitely be curious.
I think it would be best to have Don do it so he can just fly back up here.
Yeah, I was thinking either me
Yeah, that
or
would make a
Alistair,
lot of
'cause
sense, wouldn't
Ranger.
it?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna
All right.
fly on down.
So
Flitter on
Don, you sort of flitter into this valley, and now you can see the sort of gray daylight streaking through. You get a bit more, uh, bit a bit better of a view on it, and you can see, though it seems kind of rough and craggy, the path down to it at first, you can see that it seems to join back up only a few more yards in with what seems to be the same sort of rough hewn path that you followed to get up here. Though what you can see of the path looks, the path that you guys, or everyone but you, since you don't walk, walked up, looked very old, very worn. This path, if anything, looks like it has another few centuries on it. It is at many points difficult to discern. And as you flitter down into this, you can see that the walls of this ravine are these striations of stone that look like from metamorphic rock to sandstone, these brilliant colors. They start white, but then they go to these oranges and tans and browns and these stripes. And that the caverns themselves are worn surprisingly smooth. You descend into it only a little bit, and you notice you're having to flap your wings considerably harder than usual because there's this wind that just winds through this ravine. It seems like the natural shape of it kind of makes it almost like a wind tunnel. And you can hear the roar of water somewhere deeper within, somewhere below you.
Ooh. I'm trying to think, do you think that we'd want to be going down the ravine? Because I know we're going down the valley, but... nah, I think... So I don't think Don would try to look for, like, a path down the ravine. But...
Yeah. I mean, I'm using ravine and valley interchangeably here.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant, like, down the valley there's, like, a ravine. I was like, damn. No. Okay.
This isn't a Minecraft-generated world.
It can't just happen. But, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna fly up and kind of try to tell them the situation, like how the path looks and how I didn't see any animals or anything, right? I mean,
I'll let you go ahead and roll a perception check.
Perception. Damn it.
Yeah, looking down there, sort of the wind whipping in your ears, you don't really see any immediate traces of any animals, though you also get the sense that a lot of the simple leavings of an animal might get blown away fairly quickly. Also, it's sort of like the ravine, there's sort of two sides of it, but it goes further down, and as it goes further, you don't really see the bottom of it. It just sort of disappears into darkness.
So it's really deep. How long
Well,
do you
you're
think
not
it?
sure. You know, the light only shines down so far, and it's sort of twisty.
Would you say it forks, or is it more like it just turns a different direction?
It seems like it twists around a few bits. From where you are, I'd say it's hard to tell exactly how many directions it forks into, though it doesn't look like it would be unusual if it forked off.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'm gonna fly back up, and I'm gonna tell them the situation.
And Dawn explains what he saw to the rest of you.
I suppose
So-
that what the message meant by follow down.
Yeah, it's a whole ravine down there. You know.
Oh, I guess with
Very
all that
much
darkness,
so.
we can't see anything from up here.
Yeah, but if we traveled down, I'm sure we could cast some dancing lights.
Yeah, you can all see like 20 feet down into this ravine. Just, it seems like past that sort of it gets dimmer and dimmer to where you can't really see the light following all the way to the bottom of it.
But the best part is that I didn't see any animals, so for the most part, we should just. The only thing we really need to worry about is, tripping up.
Well, quickly actually, can I want to have a look around the top of this path and see if there's any footprints. So we know someone was coming here. I was just wondering, is there any sign they came this way?
Sure. Go ahead and roll investigation, Notrix. Yeah, you look around, you don't really see any footprints. How far are you walking?
I wasn't walking down. I was just looking around the top to see if anyone had started walking down.
Yeah, you don't really see anything that look like footprints up here. And you really wouldn't expect to either. It's pretty rocky.
Okay.
So what you guys doing?
Playing jacks.
No, I have a mahjong set.
I say we walk down.
I think I have a dice set.
No, let's spend 5 minutes playing dice.
Is it a very is it a wide path down or is it quite narrow?
It looks fairly narrow,
Oh,
but
should
not
we-
like the ledge. It's just, not the kind of thing where two of you can walk abreast.
Do we want to do our rope thing again? I mean, that worked so well last time.
Yeah, but that time we were above ground. Now we're going to be going under it.
Yes, but we're still climbing into a. Well, we're still climbing next to a cliff, aren't we? Or next to an edge. We're going
Not-
down the side of the valley or / ravine.
Yeah, but at least this time we if we fall, we'll get to our destination faster.
If you guys fall and survive, I mean, that's work for me.
Feather fall.
I don't think we should just jump off and float down.
I don't think we should jump off either. I'm just saying that if it happens,
Oh no.
We're going down now.
yeah,
Going
we're
down.
down.
Go, 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 go!
Worse than this,
Alright,
also worse than it's also birds as it's going down.
All right, you guys are heading down into the ravine.
Yes, we sprint.
Okay, who is in the lead? I want to know the order that you guys are going.
Well, Notrix was already up there investigating, so I guess he would be the one going first.
All right, Notrix. Who's behind Notrix?
I guess Alistair would be.
Okay, Notrix, then Alistair, then who's next?
Don.
Worsens.
All right.
Worson's on.
Uh,
I mean, Don's on Worsen.
Worsens on Dawn. Yes,
okay,
let's go.
sure.
Come on.
Yeah. So
I got you.
Notrix, Alistair, Worsens, and Dawn, then probably Peyton, right?
Yeah, sure.
And then Alcana leading up the back.
Yes.
All right.
That's totally
Great.
Arcana. Answer.
So you guys quickly sort of dash into the shadow of this ravine. And as you do, sort of a minute later, hearing this loud you feel your clothes ruffling already from sort of the wind whipping through this ravine. But then you see just a large shadow pass overhead and then slowly fade from view.
Ooh.
So, Notrix, looking through sort of the twisted, striated edges of this cavern as it's whipping sort of your long white hair around your face, it does have an odd beauty to it. The multiple colors, as far as you can see, though it gets dimmer further down. You can hear what seems like the sound of water somewhere below you, but in front of you, you can see the path continuing for a bit. What are you doing?
Well, I think we should continue down this path.
All right. So, are you guys doing anything in particular as you're following this path down? Are you guys tying yourselves together? Are you trying to be stealthy, or are you just taking a pleasant stroll?
Is there anywhere to really fall? So I guess we don't really have to tie each other together.
Well, sort of the path is on one side of the ravine, and right next to it, sort of the ravine just continues down into the darkness and whatever's at the bottom of it.
But yeah, but tying each other to each other last time just ended up with all of us falling.
So let's just walk forward.
It's true. I think, well, because you mentioned sneaking, I think I will cast Pass Without Trace. So we're being a bit sneaky, and also on the lookout for anything odd. Like if we pass something, I want to see it.
All right, okay. I'm not going to have you guys roll stealth until you guys need it, but I'm just going to assume that, yeah, you guys are generally being pretty stealthy. So for this first hour, you sort of walk your way, or say this first half hour, walk your way down this path, and you see that sort of the opening of the ravine, it's not just a valley where it's widest on top and thinnest on the bottom. It seems like the walls themselves kind of curve around. So at points, it's nearly like a cave, and at some points, it's much more open. As you continue walking, sort of the pace of the wind blowing in your faces, it becomes stronger and stronger. And you see that the worn path that you're walking gets more a little bit more worn, a little bit more clearly weather worn. It becomes like you have to lean a little bit more on the wall to continue following it. You guys keeping your eyes out, Notrix and Alistair, you notice right away on the opposite side of the ravine, at a point where it seems to narrow, so this wall can't be more than 15 feet away from you, you notice a python sort of driven into the wall with a scrap of fabric sort of hanging off of it.
Oh.
I imagine that Alistair and Notrix kind of go to tell each other that they saw this at the same time, but then they realize, duh, the other one saw it already.
Looks like we definitely aren't the first people here.
Yeah, but that path back there seemed so untouched.
Well,
Is Werson still using his dancing lights?
If he wants to be.
I'm thinking the dancing lights would become a person, a humanoid person.
What?
Yeah. Okay.
It says I can combine all four of them and to be a medium-sized humanoid.
Just like floating right next to you.
Does it dance?
Well,
Anyway, Alistair
it dances.
turns to Werson and he said, "Can you send the lights over there to that thing? I want to get a better look at it."
He looks at it. The figure looks at him, and then he just Versus points rather dramatically to wherever Alistair just said, and the dancing light figure did a pirouette over there. It's fancy.
All right. Very nice. Why don't you go ahead and roll acrobatics for your dancing lights?
Wait, how does that work?
I was about to ask. Are you sure I can't just charisma?
Roll, you fool!
I mean,
Pushing
okay.
God! Do it!
Hey, that's not acrobatics, you fool.
All right, fine. I mean, fine.
Why would it have the same acrobatics as him?
Because it just does. It does a little bit of a pirouette. It looks, it doesn't look like the worst thing you've ever seen. It sort of wobbles a little bit. It's clearly like, sort of like maybe at a advanced elementary level. But you can, Alistair, see this Python a bit more clearly. Go ahead and roll an investigation check. Yeah, it's difficult to tell. You can just see sort of this bit of fabric flapping on the breeze. As far as you can tell, just from how much wind there is there, the fact the fabric's even still hanging onto this python means it can't have been there too long. It's not like something that's been there for years, but it's difficult to tell much more than that.
Can I tell how long it seems the python itself was there?
Well, the python, it doesn't seem to have like any oxidation on it, which you would expect on like an iron python that's been in a one place for a while. More than that, it's difficult to tell.
Well, I can't see much from all the way over here, even in this slight light, but really looks like it's it's not old because there's no rust or anything, but it can't be that new, can it?
Well, I think the more interesting question here is why were they using these instead of taking this path? Because I mean, this path seems much easier than scaling a pretty sheer cliff face.
They probably thought it'll look more better this way.
Are there any like loose rocks around?
Go ahead and just roll a perception for me. You look around, and with the way that the wind is whipping, there's not really a lot of, loose dirt here. It seems like it sort of blows away any detritus from the walls.
Don kind of says, like holding on to Thorson, maybe they're trying not to get blown away.
Yes, but why would they be on the other side?
Well, it is pretty windy in here. You'd think that some kind of storm. No, a storm can't really form in here, can it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, imagine just a giant man made out of wind just messing up your. That'll really blow.
Well,
Guys,
it may simply be that the climbers, well, couldn't get to this side of the crevice, so they were forced to scale down that other side instead.
but then why is there only one?
Maybe they had to leave it.
Yeah, I think normally pythons are removed, but they must have forgotten or some reason left this one behind. Maybe we can see where maybe there's other marks in the rock where other pythons have been driven in.
Do I see any other marks? I'm guessing no.
Yeah, it's sort of difficult for you to see that much further beyond here. Though Notrix, if you want to roll a perception or an investigation, you can.
Okay.
So, looking at this space, you do actually spot a couple of faint marks. You see one several feet above that python. You look down and you seem to see another sort of little chink in the rock several feet below. And then what looks like another chink sort of opposite that one on the same side of the ravine that you guys are on, sort of below your current position, though you don't really spot any more than that.
So yes, see here there have been more pythons here in the past.
Man, you really see good in the dark, don't you?
Yes, the talent. I mean, it's not that hard to see them when you look for them hard.
Alistair raises an eyebrow and presses X to doubt. But anyway,
So, as you guys continue, after another 5 minutes, Notrix, you realize that this path that you're following is getting more and more worn away, and the surface against which you're walking is becoming steeper and steeper. And you realize before too long, you're not going to be able to walk on this path anymore. You're going to need to find another way forward. As you look around, and Alistair sort of helps you to spot this, you can see directly below you that the sort of caves, or the hollows as they're called, sort of seem to branch out into these other sort of smaller boreholes that come off of the main ravine. You can still hear the sound of water somewhere below, though you can also see that there are a few ledges kind of closer to the top of the ravine at a few points above, and you feel like you could possibly use your climbing equipment to get to those ledges and move from one to the other. So it's sort of up to you now whether you want to try to climb up out of this, or try to navigate the boreholes, or try to climb to the ledges, or even try to go deeper.
the message did say follow down, right?
Yes.
Hang on a second. Alistair takes out just a single chime and just flicks it out into the darkness and just listens to see how long it takes to hit bottom.
All right. You hear it clink off sort of the opposite edge of the ravine and then back. I want you to roll a perception check. Yeah, you listen, but you never hear it hit the bottom, but you get the sense that that's probably just because of all the wind in your ears.
Damn. I was hoping I'd get lucky and be able to hear it either way.
Let's see. Is there... Looking further down slightly, is there any evidence that the path once went further down? Like, is there like the erosion patterns or something that says the path that did go further down?
Roll another either perception or investigation check, not tricks. I know it's just perception and investigation, one after the other. Man, same thing as before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems as you look, you can see that there are a few spots that seem to get a little bit flatter going forward, maybe staying closer to the top of towards the top of the ravine where you guys are, though still seeming to maybe decline slightly, but it's difficult to tell much more than that.
So we're just going along the top of the ravine, are we? Not necessarily downwards.
I mean, it does seem to be going downwards, but not very steeply downwards. Like you guys right now are probably, maybe about 12 to 20, maybe like 15 feet down below the surface level of the ravine.
So it's not a very steep incline. It hasn't been a steep incline so far.
Yeah, it hasn't been steep incline so far. From what little you can see of these, a few sort of slightly flat parts, and they're not even a path, they're more like just little remnants of a path. They seem to, from this point on, get slightly steeper, though not that much.
Okay. So if most of our movement so far has been horizontal, then maybe climbing to those ledges and going along those would be good. Like the first ledges that were mentioned.
All right. So you look out towards these ledges, and you can see that clearly to reach that, you're probably going to need to get out your climbing kits, get out your pythons to reach over there.
Okay, I think. Well, who exactly has those? Do we know that?
I think we all had our own.
Well, they're part of the climbing kits that you guys bought.
Yep.
Say that you'd have enough to make your way over there. So I want to ask, who is going to be sort of your lead mountaineer? Who is going to kind of be placing these pythons that you guys are going to be tied to? And also, you guys are all tied together, or no?
I think in this situation, yes. I think it would be better to be tied together than not. And also, here's an idea. Shouldn't Don put in the pythons because he can just fly up and hammer them in if he has
Am I
the strength
strong
to?
enough to do that? Can I try?
You really want to trust the fairy with that?
Yes,
We're all gonna die here.
exactly.
With my precision, give me those things.
How
Don takes
high
one.
up are the ledges?
I mean, they're sort of roughly at about the same level in the ravine that you are now. The drop sort of off of the ledges is fairly sheer, and you're not sure exactly how deep that goes.
We'll find out when we get up there. And
Right,
I
but
slam one in.
from where Peyton is standing now, how many feet roughly will it
Oh
be
shit.
to the ledge?
Oh shit. I know what he's doing. The mad lad.
It's probably about 30 to 40 feet to the next ledge.
Okay, well, if it's 30 or less, well, can I move any closer, actually?
Sure. We'll say that if you get right at the very edge of where this path no longer is walkable, it's 30 feet.
Yeah, okay, then I'm going to cast Misty Step, I guess, to get on top.
Yeah, Peyton sort of awkwardly maneuvers himself in front of Alistair and Notrix and just poofs away in a cloud of mist onto this cliff. or onto this ledge.
Yeah, and Peyton just stands there waiting, crosses his arms.
Alistair looks up and says, "Oh, great! You got up there first. Go check it out. See what the hell's up there."
And Peyton looks to the sides. What the hell is up here?
Not really too much. It mostly just looks like a ledge to you, just from a first glance.
Peyton just shrugs.
All right, so Dawn, you get the sense you're probably going to need to hammer in about 3 pythons to get everyone across. So I want you to go ahead and make 3 separate athletics checks for me.
This should be easy.
Oh.
Wait, that's like Rags. Hold on. Athletics. What? Damn it! No! Ah!
Nice.
Okay,
No!
so you guys see as Dawn, very confidently takes this equipment one at a time, gets his hammer, and puts in 1 python into the wall. Doesn't look great. Puts in another one, 10 feet further beyond that. And you can see that it is just hanging askew out of the stone at an angle. Then the last one, 10 feet more beyond that. That one looks, it might be passable. And he sort of rigs up the rope between all of them and then looks back at the rest of you.
Ta-da!
Orson looks at the others and says, anybody got a hammer?
Although multiple hammer. Well, we had multiple climbing kits, so yes, we would have multiple hammers.
Good.
What does Werson do with his hammer?
Orson would like to give this hammer to his mage hand, and with it, he's gonna fix up Dawn's small mistakes of putting the thing
Okay.
up there.
Can you just put
I don't
up
know.
a mage hand for me? Oh, there we are. Mage hands. Special
Yeah.
floating hand. Vanishes. Let's see. All right. It's not carrying more than 10 pounds. So, all right. I'm going to go ahead and have you just roll 3 charisma checks. All right, so this spectral hand sort of appears with the hammer and very, very efficiently kind of gives a few expert taps to the first one you see driven deeper into the wall, to the second one that was about to fall out and it gets deeper in, to the third one it doesn't give quite so many, though maybe it didn't need quite so many.
Yeah, I didn't need that many.
I imagine when Orson did this, he's just gonna hum this song.
Meanwhile, Don's like above, just giving him a little pout face. And he says, "Well, I mean, thanks. I didn't need it, but you could have just started climbing. But if you want to use a mage hand, waste the spell slot, that's whatever. That's fine."
Worsen pats Dawn with a mage hand.
All
There,
that matters
buddy.
is that we get across successfully, and you two both worked together. So I would say that's a win. And
Yeah, Alistair just kind of walks up behind Worse and gives him a nice pat on the shoulder. Wow, that was great, actually. Good job.
I helped.
Thanks. I couldn't have done it without Dawn, though.
Sure.
Yeah, and with these pythons driven in so well, I'm gonna say that the 4 of you don't even need to make checks. You're easily able to kind of get onto these ropes with all of it tied together. Occasionally you feel yourself sort of slip against the surface of the edge of this ravine, but you manage to find yourselves all the way back at this ledge where Peyton is waiting for the rest of you. And from here you can see the ledge sort of dips down a little bit, that it's another 30 or 40 feet to the next ledge, though it also seems that from here there's a little space where the edge of the ravine sort of goes into a possibly navigable slope that you could get deeper into the depths of it, though you're not sure exactly what's down there.
Want me to fly ahead again?
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Yes, and it's this time we should have worse and apply the.
Apply what? Sorry, you cut it.
It seems like this
Titans.
time we should have worse and apply the.
It's a mage hand, not mage hands. So, Dawn, I kind of need you to go up there and help us out. Help me out there.
Yes, but where are we aiming to get to? Are we aiming to get to the further edge, which I think will get us more across, or further into, horizontally further into Credis, or the path, what seems like a path down, which goes vertically down.
Yeah, where does the path down lead to? Versus.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of disappears into the darkness of the lower parts of the ravine. You can see that it sort of passes through a couple of places where the stone is more worn through, possibly boreholes, though it doesn't seem to go to a specific place that you can see from here.
Okay, well, as long as it's going through that direction. I say we walk down there then, eh?
Yes. Does it go in a similar way to the original path we were following? Is it similar gradient and such to that?
Well, it goes like further deeper into the ravine, though it seems to, still follow the edge of it.
Okay, I think we should do our Python thing again and head over that way. Have Don fly and then probably have Weston fix it.
Oh, so you guys are you like going down deeper into the ravine, or are you going like over to the next ledge?
How is this laid out? Is this like, are we like on a platform right now?
Yeah, right now you guys are sort of on a ledge closer to the top of the ravine, and you can see like further down, almost like imagine like towards the top, it's more sheer. There are occasional ledges that you would need to like do your mountaineering across. Closer to the middle, it sort of the slope gets a little bit more gentle, though you can see that there are several sort of like more worn boreholes and pass through it. And further down, well, is the darkness, and you're not sure what's down there.
So the ravine is very deep, but it's also quite long. And for the most part, we've been going long ways.
Yeah, sort of long, narrow.
The middle path sounds pretty okay. I'll take that.
I think we want to end up where that original path was leading us, because there might be maybe another or more remnants of the goblin stuff. So,
And you think that's down, right?
Well, that is what the thing said, but I can understand where you're both coming from.
the path we were on was mostly going crossways. It wasn't going very steeply. So we don't want to go down too quickly. We want to try and match that we had before.
I agree with Notrix. I think we should stick to the level path for now.
Is Notrix saying to go down? Or is he saying to go level?
Well, the path we were on was going down a little bit, but not a lot. And this new path, well, we have two options. I think we have the ledges, which go pretty much straight across, and we have a little bit of a path that goes quite a lot down, I think.
How down is this? Is this like a steep ledge? Not like if we're to just like you can't just slide down it, right?
Yeah, it looks like on most edges it's pretty steep. There is one place sort of to one side of it where you could possibly slide down closer to the middle, but it looks like after that, that doesn't really lead to a path so much as just sort of where all the boreholes are, sort of winding through the center of this ravine.
Yeah, I think we should go horizontally. We shouldn't go down into it just yet. We should try and
All right.
go across to the next ledge in this series of ledges that's been described.
And don't worry, I'll put the pythons.
Yes,
wall.
I think I agree with.
Let's go then.
I'll hammer them like a fine dwarven ale hammers a lot of sailors.
All right. So you guys are going to try to sort of just navigate along the same edge of the ravine, going from sort of ledge to ledge.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to say for this journey, just in general, I would like a survival check from Notrix. I would like an athletics check from Dawn, and I would like a charisma check from Warsend.
I guess he's all we need. God damn it. It's like before. Alright.
Hey, we're a great team.
Yeah.
We finished
Natrix
each other's.
Great team.
Hey, we finished each other's.
Spells!
Silent.
Yes.
Dawn like looks into this for a second. Spells!
Yeah. As you continue, Don doing his damnedest to feel like he's actually contributing something, you go from ledge to ledge. As you do, you hear the occasional roll of thunder from somewhere overhead. After another half hour of this sort of travel, Notrix, you feel the your sort of magical ability to pass without trace fading away. Though it's a bit of a struggle for you, and you feel your muscles aching from the constant sort of climbing along, you do make progress. And at one point, Notrix, you see that the ravine actually splits into two separate forks. Though you're able to sort of find the traces of where the original path was, that you see is continuing to sort of wind downward. You're able to follow this for about another hour or so. And Alistair, as they're doing this, you do notice a couple more sort of pythons stuck into the wall, this time sort of in the stone below the path that you're following.
Natrix, are you seeing this?
I can see it now. You pointed it out. Yes. I guess the smugglers are also going this way.
Well, whoever was here last, didn't the smugglers say? He kind of turns towards Alcana. Didn't the smugglers tell us that there was one other group, or a group of 2 people, Westerners, who came down here?
Something that certainly side support that.
Maybe that was from them.
Yes, it's either them or the larger part that was here before.
If it was
Do
a
you
large
guys make-
party. Oop, you go.
So as you guys make your way onto the next ledge, you can feel the wind now whipping much more strongly at your clothes. And to talk to each other, you realize here you need to nearly shout to be heard. And you can sense that it's going to be a lot more difficult to scale the edges of the cavern from this point on. Notrix, as you look forward, sort of as far as you can see into these caverns, you don't really see another ledge anywhere nearby. You get the sense that you'll probably have to, if you want to stay close to the top, scale the walls for a little while here.
So I can't see anything ahead before it just gets too dark. Is that it? Is that it?
Yeah, at least from here, it seems like, yeah, like it's just sort of a sheer cliff edge, at least at this elevation in the ravine. And yeah, you don't clearly see from where you are another ledge. All of you guys are a little bit startled as there's suddenly a flash of light, and you're not sure what it is for a second until you realize that it is a crack of lightning from somewhere up above as you hear the thunder a second later.
Uh-oh.
And then you see a couple of drops of moisture kind of hit the upper layers of the ravine on the opposite side before being whisked away by the wind.
We should probably get moving before that gets too heavy.
Think it's time to start heading down?
I think. Yes, I think so. If we've run out of easy ways to go across the ravine, maybe. Yes, we should start heading down. I think.
All right, so you guys head down, Dawn and Worsend, sort of hammering in these pythons. You make your way sort of another maybe 20 feet down into the depths of this ravine. And as you do, the wind, if anything, seems louder down here, and you can feel that the temperature is actually getting warmer. You can also hear the sound of water a bit louder, even though the wind is kind of obscuring most of it. You finally find your feet on not quite flat ground, but at least sloped enough that you can stand on. And you see that the stone around you has been eaten away by wind and by time into several sort of winding boreholes, much narrower than the width of the ravine itself, but wide enough for a person to stand in.
We're gonna have to go in there. Is it dark?
The boreholes look pretty dark.
Listen, can you send your lights down further into the ravine? Is there anything we can see now that we're deeper?
Worthen stares at his do I really want to call it?
Yes.
Yeah, light buddy. He looks at his light buddy and just points a finger for him to sprint ahead, my friend. And the light buddy pirouettes again. This time, a different style of pirouette, which requires a different roll.
Sure. So, is he going like down deeper into the ravine, or is he going into one of the boreholes?
Into one of the. You did mention there was like a place for somebody to stand in.
Yeah, the borehole.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys are kind of standing in the place where someone can stand. Oh, yeah, in the borehole. Those are wide enough for someone to stand.
Sure.
All right, so you watch as this person sort of not so much dancing as falling over itself and making itself look like a real jackass, sort of stumbles through the borehole, and you can see that it narrows a bit but seems to sort of twist away and then out of sight from where you're standing right now.
Wait! Don't go that far! We need you!
What's going
Well,
on?
how far away did you say that is again?
Gets like, say 30 feet into the borehole. Actually,
So
I'm
just
not sure how far
drops.
away dancing lights can go. Oh, 120. Dang.
120.
20. 120.
Blaze it. Times 4.
Almost.
Yeah, I mean, you can send it 120 feet into the borehole, though you can't see, what it's illuminating unless you guys are all following after.
Can we see the light coming from anywheres downwards? Like directly downwards?
As it enters the borehole, no.
So it hasn't come out the other side yet.
Yeah, not in 120 feet.
Is a borehole a pit or is it a horizontal tunnel?
It's sort of more horizontal, but also it's sort of almost like twisting a little bit. If anything, it's almost like the look you could imagine of like some twisting worm winding this out while sort of going up and down and across, though it seems pretty clear that this was worn out by the wind itself.
Well, listen, what I think you misunderstood me. Actually, I think what I actually wanted you to do was send the light body down into the ravine, not the borehole. Because
Oh.
Oh, I thought you wanted him in the borehole. I'm sorry.
I mean, the borehole's also useful, but I was just looking over the edge here, and I wanted to see. Like, I can hear the water. I wanted to see, is there a river down there or something right next to us?
Dancing Lights is a cantrip, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and also you guys are sort of having to shout this to each other to be heard. As the light man starts, heading back through the borehole, you hear something down the borehole where you sent it, kind of,
Uh-oh.
and then you hear like this small flapping before you suddenly see all these dark shapes burst forth from the borehole right towards you. And Worsened and Notrix, you both... yeah, that first one was for Worsen, and the bats just sort of flit all around you, and you sort of whip them around your head. Though for you, Notrix, these bats actually manage to nip you, like in your hands and on your neck, and I need you to make either a dexterity or a strength saving throw.
Meanwhile, Worsen just shouts, "Light buddy!"
Okay.
Wait, buddy's dead.
Do I get any advantage because Notrix lived in the cave his whole life? Familiar with bats.
Yeah, okay.
I have
I'll allow
bat
it.
advantage. Sorry, what check was it again?
Either dexterity or strength save. Yeah, and you manage to, even as you take this 3 piercing damage from these bats raking across your face, you manage to keep your grip here on the side of the ravine. And they seem to almost, like, get poofed away as they fly into the wind tunnel of this ravine beyond you.
Ah. That was annoying.
Ugh. They're like night bats. I mean, night birds. I don't like them.
So then you see the sort of the light man sauntering out behind them, very lead-footed. And Worsen, are you sending it down deeper into the ravine?
Yes, and he's going to do another pirouette. No, this time he's going to do a ballet more performance.
He should just walk like vertically down the side of the wall, like it's just a floor.
This is my stand. He does what he wants.
I was just
Yada
thinking,
yada.
My stand sucks.
Yeah. It just kind of, it looks, even though gravity doesn't affect this thing, it looks like it trips off the side of the ravine and like tumbles and baps into the next side and then bounces on the other one, back and forth until it becomes just this dot of light, maybe 40, 50 more feet down. Roll a perception check, Notrix.
I roll a lot of these.
Man, yeah. You look down, it's difficult to tell anything from that far down.
But you say it's 40, 50 feet down, but it didn't get submerged in water.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say that, you can detect that it goes about that far down. It's difficult to tell much more than that.
Well, I think in order to not do any more climbing, we might try this borehole. What does everyone else think?
Notrix, you accept their silence as a tacit acceptance of your plan. You start leading this party down the borehole. Notrix, since you're in the lead, I want you to go ahead and roll a survival check.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. So, as you guys start coming down this borehole, walking for about 5-10 minutes before it starts to get narrower, you have to kind of crouch a little bit to keep going. And you see several places where it seems to actually branch off a bit. But Notrix, you seem to get a feel for where you feel like the most air flowing through this borehole, and take it that that's probably more of a correct path that won't lead you to any dead ends. At one point, you get to a place that you guys need to almost stand back as you see that there's like steam rising through this hole that seems like it could scald you. Before you continue going for another hour or two, and you can hear somewhere in the distance another roll of thunder and what seems like more water, until you find yourself sort of emerging from the end of this borehole. As you sort of stick your head out, you can look up, see that it is now fully raining down, though the rain is not quite getting to this point, this deep in the ravine. You are not far, but deeper than you were when you entered it. The light here is dimmer, the wind is stronger, and you can see traces maybe about 50 feet in front of you on the opposite side of the ravine. You're not sure how it got there. What looks like a trace of that path heading in sort of a downward motion at a much steeper slope than you saw before, maybe at about 30 degrees, and about level with where you come out in this borehole.
Was it just a remnant of the path, or was it an actual usable path?
This point, it actually looks surprisingly usable. You're not sure why it isn't as worn away here, but you can see, though it is on the opposite side of the ravine, you're not sure where it went across or how it ended up on the opposite side from where you were, but yeah, you can see it now.
Does anyone have a way we can get over there rather than climbing down?
You could always use Peyton's Featherfall, huh? But how far is it?
Well, it's across the other side.
I'd rather us not rely on
Also,
that much in case we need it in a pinch. It happened before.
How far is it in feet?
It's about 50 feet in front of you.
across. That's a little much. I don't think we could, like, somehow get a rope and, walk across that confidently, Might have to go down more.
Yeah, they'll say that Notrix, kind of with your perception, passive perception, you'd be able to look around and see that if you, from where you're coming out, it's nearly a sheer wall, though the wall of that you're coming out of and the wall of the ravine that the path is going down, maybe like 30 feet behind you, narrow considerably closer together.
How far up is the ceiling?
I mean, you can see the sky above you and sort of the rain coming down and being whisked away by the wind. Maybe like another 50 feet up.
Yeah, okay, so we need to get 50 feet across here, and we have at least 50 feet above us. Huh. Well, I'm going to do... Well, unless anyone else has any plans, I'm going to do something. Because Peyton is going to tell people that in character, in case they want to comment.
Well,
And I'll
what
also say that you guys all sense that the wind is stronger than ever in this spot.
Is the wind blowing against us, or
sort of cross-cutting you, seeming to go right like down the center of the ravine, sort of directly across the space that you guys would, have to move across to get to where the path is.
Okay, so the path is on the other side of the ravine. Well, anyway, I'm going to...
Well, before you do, or you do your thing.
Well, I'm going to take a rope from my climbing kit. I assume it's at least 50 feet, if not 60.
Yeah, I think they're like 50 feet long.
Yeah, and I'm going to use it to cast rope trick, so that one end of the rope is, let's say, 50, 60 feet up in the air, and Peyton is holding the lower end of the rope.
Oh, very interesting.
So my plan is, now that I've anchored the rope to another dimension, I'm just going to swing across.
Very, very interesting.
Better than my plan.
Okay. So, Peyton, you put out this rope, watch as it rises into the air, moving against the wind, and just forms a loop stationary high above you. So how are you doing this?
Well, it's 50 feet across, right?
That's right.
The rope's at least that long.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm going to...
Full on Tarzan swing?
I'm sort of debating whether this would be in character, because it's kind of stupid, but I don't know, maybe he has heat stroke or something. He's going to take a few steps backwards, if he can.
Uh-huh.
And then make a running jump and swing.
Okay. Make an acrobatics or an athletics check.
Wait, oh no. Please, don't fail. Can I cast guidance on him? Before he
Okay,
does?
I'll allow that.
Yeah, you'll allow that, because you kind of know what you're... what's it tonight, huh?
Alright. Yeah. So, Peyton, acrobatics or athletics? If you'd be so kind. Yeah.
Plus D4? Plus
You can roll a d4 if you want.
I don't think it's gonna help. Oh,
It's...
will it?
I mean, that's the highest you could roll on that, but it's still not high enough. As soon as you grasp this and swing out of the borehole, you sense just how strong the wind is, realize how bad an idea this is, and you feel yourself sort of wiping through it. You think you're going to make it, and then just the wind through your hair, your hair in your eyes, in your mouth, your body being pulled by this immense zephyr, and your fingers lose their grasp on the rope, and you feel yourself losing your lifeline.
Okay.
Foresight.
Can I use my bonus action here, or does it have to be a reaction?
Yeah, you can use I'll let you use your bonus action. I mean, that's an
Yeah.
action, swinging recklessly
Am I
across.
within? Am I within 30 feet of the ledge by the time I start to lose my grip?
I'd say so.
Okay, then I'm going to attempt to use Misty Step to get the rest of the way.
All right, as you guys all watch as the body of this elderly, frail wizard, loses its grasp, starts to look like it's going to be carried away by the wind, thinking you're seeing Peyton's last moments, there's just a poof of mist that is immediately blown away, and you spot him on the other side on this path, breathing heavy, clutching the stone.
Oh, if there's space for it, Peyton's just going to sort of collapse down to a sitting position and breathe heavily.
Yeah, Peyton, you've made it across.
Woo!
Now for the rest of you jokers.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Wilson.
Does the rope swing back to them?
I'd say it does, yeah. It's anchored, right above where they are.
And Don could always,
So,
bring it towards them if they want.
so how much of the walls around the ravine do they count as earth?
I mean, they're pretty rocky. They're not like there's no loose soil here.
Will this really be accurate? So the drop down. Can we see how deep the drop down is if should we fail that jump?
Make a perception check.
It's so deep.
What? Ooh.
Oh, dang.
Bruh.
So you look down, and though you couldn't see it before, you think that maybe like the sun is directly overhead, even though it's overcast, that maybe there's a spot in the clouds where it opens up for just a second. You can see its reflection on the moving water below that you'd think is probably about 40 feet down from where you are. Actually, no. It would probably be closer to like 60 feet down from where you are.
Alright, so hear me out. How much of mold earth do I have to use to create a bridge of earth? Say, fill up that gap down below with like rock around us to make some space, and
Wait, to go across the river, or the water below,
basically.
or to go across this chasm here, or to go across the water below?
Well, obviously the chasm.
The chasm.
Yeah.
Is this a cantrip, or is this?
Yes.
Okay, hold on, let me see. Dirt or stone, 5-foot cube.
So basically, become an earthbender and create a bridge.
Huh. Moving it and depositing it, that's specifically for loose earth and not for stone. Shapes, colors, or both to appear on the dirt or stone. Dirt or stone on the ground, difficult terrain. Yeah, I don't think that you can use that to make a bridge.
Damn. Well, can I at least make it so the fall isn't that heavy down below? Kinda.
I like so that you land on Earth instead of landing on the water.
So we don't get dragged down by the river, yeah. Make
I'd
it
say
kinda
that-
also...
I'd say that would probably need to be like a split decision that you make when you're falling, if you fall, because otherwise you wouldn't really know the 5-foot area where you're going to fall. And I'd say that you'd probably also need to do some kind of a check to see if you can really manage it in that instant. But I mean, I'd let you attempt it.
Well, technically speaking, I could just fall down and create a staircase down there now. You know, play Minecraft in this cavern.
Do a little parkour.
Yes.
Does no one else want to try to Tarzan swing across the 50-foot chasm?
Okay.
That didn't go too well last time, did it?
Actually, Worsand would do that parkour because that's the thing he would do.
All right, worsened.
But that's my backup plan.
All right, athletics or acrobatics? Your choice.
Well, I suck at both, but we'll see how.
Oh no!
Okay, so before we
Jump,
do this,
grasp onto the rope,
Before
and
we do
almost
this, Ron.
immediately.
Ron,
Let's roll on the
Oh,
boss table for
dear.
that too.
yes,
Oh wow!
This session is just been
So-
a session full of falling.
Yeah,
hasn't it?
you grasp onto the rope. You immediately lose it, and you're disheartened. You can't even concentrate on trying to cast a cantrip. You just need to take a break from all of it right now. This is too much. Worsened out. And you watch the water coming up closer and closer to you. And right before you make impact, it occurs to you, wait, maybe you should have done something. And then the rest of you just hear a splash from somewhere down below.
Oh!
Oh
Don
my
flies
God.
down immediately. Don flies down.
All right. Dawn flies down. Worsened, you take 8 points of fire damage as you realize this water is really hot. It's not boiling water, but it is uncomfortably hot as you find yourself flailing in this. Dawn, you see it, and you can now as you've zoomed down, you can see finally the wind is not quite as heavy, and you can see sort of the steam rising from this water.
Whoa, you okay? How far is he from the shore?
He is like maybe about 15 feet from the edge of this, though there's not really a shore. It just goes to more sheer cavern walls.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
so is Worsen being swept away by the current?
He is moving down the current. Dawn, you're the only one who can really see this clearly. It's not moving very fast, though it's definitely carrying him away from where the rest of the group is.
Don is going to... Oh, shit. How much does this creator destroy water destroy? A 30-foot
10
cube.
gallons.
Theoretically enough to let him be not surrounded by water for a second.
To collect himself and make sure he doesn't... I don't know, is there a way to get him to... Are there any rocks down the river that he could grab onto? In the middle of the river?
You don't see anything like that here.
There's just smooth walls and a river.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jesus Christ, alright. I don't know,
Person just groans down there,
oh my god, are you alive?
All right.
How are you alive right now?
So Dawn, what are you doing?
I feel dead inside.
I'm gonna try create or destroy water just to see if he could get to the wall and grab onto something, anything, like a little crease. God damn it.
All right, let's see that spell.
Do I have to roll something else for it?
Okay. Yeah, you destroy fog in a 30-foot cube. You destroy 10 gallons of water. You
Only 10 gallons of water. God damn it. Alright, it's not even worth it.
yeah. You try to cast this, and a little bit of water disappears directly around where Worsend is, just enough that he doesn't take fire damage again on his next turn, but then it moves right back in. Worsend, is your turn. You're floating around in this. Your ill-timed decision that you needed to take a break, but you are also at risk of burning alive. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take an action. What are you doing?
Okay, so here's the thing. Worsend would like to do some. Would like to mold Earth into some kind of platform under
Oh, there
him.
you go. Yeah.
Now, while he is doing this, he is also going to fly 10 feet high because of his newly special tempestuous magic thing. So basically, fly up 10 feet in the air while he's creating a small little block of dirt to stand on, which is hopefully sturdy enough to survive the currents.
All right. So you allow yourself to sort of burst 10 feet into the air right at the edge of your turn as you try to, put out your feelers for any sort of loose soil, anything you can use to make a platform. But it seems like there's nothing there. It seems like whatever is at the bottom of this river, it's not silt, it's not loose earth. It seems like it's just smooth stone all the way down. Dawn, you see that Worsend is in the air now. What are you doing?
Whoa. You can fly?
A little.
Aha! Wait, so if he could fly, do you think that I could, like, push him, or will it, like, totally stop once he gets to 10 feet?
He's not really flying.
Right. So, god damn it. How far up is everyone else? Like 40 feet?
Everyone else is like 50 feet above you and probably 30 feet back.
Oh, shit. Oh, you know what? This ain't gonna work, never mind. I was thinking of using... Alright, I don't know if this is gonna work, but... I would like to try to cast Gust of Wind to see if I could, like, try to blow him to the top. I don't know, that doesn't have a lot to do!
Wait, is that a cantrip or is that a first level spell?
That's a second level spell. And
Oh,
I have
second
to
level
use,
spell.
I have to use a foresight because I didn't expect to use Gust of Wind.
Okay, yeah, use
All
that
right.
foresight and let's see Gust of Wind.
Okay, here you go. Gust of Wind, Gust of Wind. Bleh.
All right, let's see. Or be pushed 15 feet away. All right. So you create this gust of wind, and you immediately see that Worsen is blown 15 feet higher into the air. And you see that gets him high enough where the walls aren't quite so sheer, where there's a space where he could, with difficulty, possibly grab on. So Worsend, it is your turn. Are you trying to grab on to the ledge as you are blown 15 feet higher into the air?
Of course.
All right, I
gonna
need...
Oh my gosh, guys!
All right, make either an acrobatics or an athletics check.
Yeah,
That's a
I imagine this is gonna be like one of those top 10 anime moments where he just grabs on.
Or
Okay.
Charlie's
So,
guys!
Ron,
Plus a D4!
Ron.
D4 is not going
Ron.
to do it.
Ron,
Yes.
hello. Have you
Ah.
heard about this latest thing called foresight?
I've heard about it, yes.
Do you know what it
Yes.
can do?
I know that if you spend 2 of them, you can re-roll anything.
That's right. So
Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah.
Bitch, do it!
Before.
Okay. Roll a 4 on that D4.
Dad's crying.
oh,
No! You
Guidance!
reach up, your fingers sort
Okay,
of
Ron.
gasping. Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Better idea.
And
More.
foresight to add 3 to the roll?
Yes. Just one foresight to add
I
another.
can't use foresight to cast Wind Wall as well under him after I cast Gust or something like that.
No, you
Damn
can't
it!
do that.
When is Peyton's turn?
Peyton can't even see them at this point.
Ah, never mind.
So, for clarity, I would need 14.
Yes,
And if I add a free with foresight, I would have 14.
that's true. So you're using a 3 foresight to make this?
Yeah, although can't free foresight also let you roll with advantage?
Well, I mean, you already spent the 2, so you're going to spend
Fair
another
enough.
1 to make that a 14. Yeah,
Yeah.
you watch, Don, you swear you see Worsen fall once more, but somehow his fingers manage to grip onto the side of this nearly sheer surface. And Worsen, you feel your muscles burning as you pull yourself, caving onto this sort of ledge that you realize is right at the spot where it seemed like the other side of the ravine and the one that you guys came out of narrowed much more closely.
Worsend sighs and says, "You know, that entire time I heard piano music. That's good, right? I'm
So,
safe."
anyone else going to try to swing across?
Oh!
You know, I'm kind of tempted.
I mean, Okana's
Gross.
definitely got a better chance with her athletics roll.
Worsend lies down on the ground next to Peyton.
Well, Worsend
not next
isn't
to
actually
Peyton.
near Peyton. Worsend is a bit away from the rest of the group.
Oh.
Like what,
He's-
10 feet down?
He's about like 30
30?
feet
Yeah.
or 40 feet away from the rest of them.
So, question, why did we try this swinging from a rope thing when we have climbing equipment?
Because
it costs
how
the
are we
other
going to
side.
use climbing equipment? To get over a 50-foot cavern? This is so huge. I feel like this is the only... Ooh! What if... Okay, what if... I have a plan, but I feel like... Well, I don't know if Dawn would make up this plan in this moment! This is kind of metagaming! Fuck! Okay, want Julia to say it anyways?
Sure.
Okay, so what if... You know when you're in the rope trick dimension, you could walk around, right? Would you be able to walk 50 feet over? Like, once you climb into the rope dimension, walk 50 feet over, and then come out?
If you brought the rope with you, because the rope is the center of the...
Would you be able to move the entrance settle?
I'd say Peyton would know that that's not really a thing you can do.
Yeah,
Never
okay.
mind.
Peyton senses that that Dawn is having this thought, and he sends a telepathic message over and says, "No, you can't do that. That's not how magic works."
Worsend sends a message back saying, "Magic can be whatever we want."
Ah,
Okay.
this is just one of those sessions that ends up being.
Well, can us up here do anything at the moment?
Well, Notrix, Alcana, and Alistair, you just, saw Worsend fall, Dawn dart after him. And I'll say that Notrix, since you had already spotted this sort of ledge, not quite a ledge, but more like, sort of an outcropping where Worsend now is, that you spot him and Dawn over there. But, the 3 of you still have to make your own attempt to get across.
Oh, the hell with it.
Okay, so just to be clear, Peyton can't see Worsend now, but I'm not clear on the geography here. Is he sort of like further in and then down?
Yeah, sort of further back and then down, sort of where the ledge is. It makes it difficult to see. Though I'd say that, if there's enough of a commotion, you may be able to catch where it probably is over the sounds of the wind.
Sure, okay. Moving on, the other peeps.
So, Does there seem to be any other way that how far across is this gap that these people are trying to jump?
Yeah. It's about 50 feet, maybe a little less.
Oh wait, 50 feet across?
Yeah.
Why the hell? What is
Yeah.
wrong with you people?
Exactly. That's what I've been saying the whole time. Like 50? You sure you want to do this shit?
How? Literally, even if you grabbed onto that wouldn't work. What? Whose idea
I
was
really
this?
should have intervened and said the plan was stupid sooner.
And there's like no other way to get down, so I think like.
Just put some pythons in, and pull, and
But
let
it's
a
not.
rope down.
But it's not like
Let down
that.
the
Okay,
rope.
here I'm drawing a picture. It's happening. Okay.
I don't care what your picture looks like. It works.
No, don't. Hold on.
Yes, it does. But
I care about your pictures.
shut up.
Thanks.
Has Dawn rejoined Notrix and Alcana and Alistair?
I think Don would probably like fill him in on what happened to worsen. Yeah.
I should have said no to D.
Okay. Well, I've got an idea.
Okay.
I am going to cast Conjure Animals. And
Holy shit.
I am going to try and summon. I believe it would normally be 2. I don't know if it's different on this island, but 2 giant spiders.
Ooh.
2 giant spiders.
Mhm.
Okay. So you do this, and suddenly these 2 spiders appear right in this borehole with the other 2 of you.
Okay, don't worry, guys. These are my spider friends. No, I wouldn't say that. Sorry, that's a bit too cheesy. Don't worry, these are just my familiars. And so I'm gonna command one of the spiders to attach a string of web to this ledge that we're standing on, and then jump across, aiming to hit one of the walls on the way down.
All right, so it spins the web and somehow aims it across
well,
the.
It extrudes the web from its whatever organ it is, and then it's just sticks it behind. It sticks it to the ground, and then when it jumps, it trails the web behind it, like making more web, and then it hits the other side. And so it's making a web that stretches across the whole thing.
Okay. All right. I get it. I get it. So sort of like it climbs higher up onto the ravine and sort of jumps off from there.
You know, like how spiders begin their webs in real life. They make an
No,
anchoring
I get
line
it.
across by jumping.
All right. Yeah. So you watch it sort of skitter further up the ledge so that it gets a bit of leverage and start, creating this silk with its spinnerets, fixing it at several points to one of the higher ledges. And as it makes the leap across, I'm going to go ahead and make a check for it, because it's still very windy here and it might be a little bit too much for it. So, ooh, you watch as this spider, the first one, it sort of leaps off, and it sort of, just the wind carries it. It's too light in its body, and it sort of slams itself against the side of the cliff face, taking 7 damage as it sort of starts to skitter back up. Are both spiders trying to do this, trying to create this web?
Yeah, so my end goal is to just create a giant spider web between the 2 cliffs that we can sort of try and climb on. So yes, I want to have them try again and see if one of them manages to make it.
Yeah, let me see if they can do this without dying first. Yeah, once more it climbs up, makes the attempt, and slams into the wall. You see the spider is looking a bit ragged now.
Uh-oh.
Climbs up one more time, affixes its web to the sides, leaps off, and slams itself ragged into the edge of the wall. You see it climbing much more weakly, and it just crawls into the borehole. It seems like it has no more silk to give. It seems like it needs to rest before even trying. So the next spider sort of climbs up onto the wall. I don't know why it's rolling that way, man.
That's a +3.
Wait, did I roll? That was 1, 2. Oh no, I didn't roll that time.
Okay.
Okay, jumps off, slams itself. I don't know what's happening. Again.
Oh my god.
Bullshit.
All right, so does that make it a crit fail? Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. So
This one's
it
in the
takes-
water.
Should the spider roll on the boss table?
So
Yeah.
19 damage total. It rolls itself slowly up. It looks like this is going to be its last shot.
Oh no.
And it finally leaps across through the wind, makes it onto the other side with this spider silk. And you see it even like the rope swinging from the rope trick kind of swings and attaches itself to this strand that's going across. Now, Peyton, you can see this huge spider next to you. And this time it's going to leap again and try to leap back towards the borehole. Let's see if it can do this
Well,
successfully.
it doesn't need to leap now. It's got one strand. It can use the strand and use the strand as a structure to build the rest of it, I hope.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, so you watch as the spider begins sort of weaving this web very slowly, very carefully. The spider looks frail as all get out. It took a beating from whapping into the side of the wall. But after about a half hour, you get this diaphanous, very, very wavy, blustery web going across this chasm.
Well, that didn't work quite as well as I hoped it would.
Right. So are you guys crawling across the web?
I mean, that's what the intention was.
And I see no other way, so yes.
Yes, I hoped it. I told the spider to build it strong enough for us to be able to cross, and I hope that worked.
All right. So I need all of you guys to go ahead and make a either an athletics or an acrobatics check. And Arcana too.
Yeah, I know.
Arcana 3, you mean?
Oh, shoot, I forgot that I had.
Yeah. Well, either of
12.
those would have been fine. You managed to kind of pick your way carefully along the web, sort of, not touching any place too long so you don't stick to it too hard. And you manage to make your way over to the opposite side of the ledge, joining Peyton on this path that you see is leading down and then seeming to bend across this sort of bend in the ravine. Though you do also see Worsened is further back and on another little ledge on the other opposite side.
Orphan just waves.
Alistair waves back.
So how far down is Worsen from us?
30 feet.
Yeah, he's about 30 feet down.
And 15
30
for
feet down
us.
and 30 feet back.
Wait, what?
Okay, and the sides of the ravine are very smooth, right?
Pretty smooth, yeah.
Okay, can I use a foresight to change my prepared spells?
Of course.
Okay, hang on. Well then, I'm going to move to a position where I can see worsened.
You do that thing.
and I'm going to cast Levitate on him.
Okay.
Can I-
Worsened. Go ahead.
Worsened when when he sees Peyton and is like, "Hey, Peyton, can you help me out of it?" "Oh, okay, guess I'm floating now. La 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 la. You'll
Yeah.
float too." Wait, what? Why am I flying?
And with the
Help!
is Don helping him?
Yeah, he helps him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ap-
Worsen is kind of, flailing his arms a bit, like not understanding why he's floating. Even
Wait,
though
Don,
even though he literally flew a few moments ago.
you have a lot of flying. Hey, hold on! You've had it levitate the whole time,
No,
and you didn't care to use it.
I'm not controlling this. I swear.
Oh yeah, likely story.
No, really, who is doing that?
Peyton.
It's Wes. Oh, you had levitate the whole time. You gotta use
Well,
that.
Just how many
on all of
spells
us.
do you know?
How many spells I know? I'm a wizard! It's kind of my thing.
Yeah, that doesn't I get that part, but that didn't exactly answer my question.
More importantly, why didn't you just use this to begin with instead of that stupid rope trick idea?
Well, you see, I hadn't prepared it, so I needed to really
He's just lying.
look
He
just
into
wanted
my
to-
books and do something.
He just wanted to look cool by swinging his rope. Classic.
Yeah, I'm sure you had the foresight to prepare.
Now
this
it's not the
spell
time for
beforehand.
fanciful overthinking.
Well, levitate wouldn't be very helpful for crossing the gap because, well, it only makes you hover around 20 feet in the air. You'd still need a way of propelling yourself forward.
You mean like having me, drag you over with these, and I just flex?
Are you sure we can't borrow your wings, Don?
I suppose.
Them
We get going now.
Yeah.
Yes,
No, I
I
wanna-
agree.
No, shut up. We're going.
Wait a minute.
We're
So,
going. We're
yeah.
going.
Okay. We're sincere. Okay, we're good.
have
We've had enough nonsense for
Have-
one day.
No, we haven't.
reined worsened in, or
Don't
is he
tempt
still
fate
floating?
worse than.
Yeah, Don has kind of pushed Worsened over to where the rest of you guys are.
Okay.
Hey guys. Thanks. Did you like my trick down there? See, Don helped.
For once.
Yes, it was rather terrifying though, watching
Four.
you just fall.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't worry.
Surprised you didn't. I mean, I heard that when you're supposed to hit the water, it's almost like concrete, but I guess that's a myth. You know.
Well,
I mean, they're
you know
high
what?
divers.
Well, nothing. Well, you'd be surprised by what I can do. He kind of smirks. Oh, and he looks to the side and says, "I'm kinda, sorta, a bit sorry for some of my shenanigans."
It's what makes you you. If you ever stopped, I'd probably be worried.
Major
sorry
character
for
development.
my. I'm sorry for my harsh words and harsh. It's just we had so many other obstructions. Well, honestly, it just looked a bit of. I'm honest. Sorry. Certainly, all high stress with it doesn't give me an excuse to.
So as you guys all get to your feet and begin following this path, it's a lot more level now, though the wind is still very tough. You find it sort of winding around a bend you can't quite see. It's getting dimmer. And now you can hear the flowing of the water much more loud, And you see, after another maybe half hour of walking, what looks like a large sort of semi-subterranean waterfall ahead of you. The light above is only a sliver, and the rain seems to have abated somewhat, though you still hear the occasional rolling of thunder. And Alistair, you pick up something as you begin approaching this place. You hear, as you guys sort of have to yell to hear each other shouting over this wind, you feel like you hear another voice in here. As you pay attention, try to follow it, it seems like it's shouting help in a very bad Wushanko accent. Or like shouting help in Wushanko, but with a very strange accent.
Can I tell what direction it's coming from?
Roll another perception check. It's difficult to tell. Yeah, from where you are, you can see the path kind of follows straight towards where this waterfall is, maybe 200-300 feet ahead, and seems to sort of wind up to some sort of ledge next to it.
As we're walking towards the waterfall, does it sound like it's getting further? Does it sound quieter, or does it sound like it's getting louder, or can I not tell?
I'd say you can tell that it sounds like it's getting louder as you approach the waterfall.
Alistair kind of starts speed walking a little bit more and more as it gets louder and louder.
Are you telling anyone what you hear or no?
Yeah, he kind of turns around as he starts walking fast. Guys, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's somebody yelling for help, and it's coming from this direction.
Oh.
Oh dear, no, I didn't hear that, but thank you for telling us.
Do you think it's those Westerners from earlier?
I get the feeling if we don't hurry up, we'll never get the chance to find out if that water's as hot as I think it is.
It's pretty hot, alright.
You
Yeah, it is.
A little hotter than some sirens, but that's just me carrying away with.
Does Worsen have, like, severe burns or anything?
No, he wasn't in there long enough to get severe burns, though you can tell, like, from what you can see of his hands and his neck, they do look a little red. Yeah, and as you approach this waterfall, you can actually, see, at first you think it's mist, but then you realize it's sort of more steam rising from the bottom of it.
Note to self, don't bathe in that.
Good idea. Where the hell's that screaming coming from? Alistair just kind of looks around.
Yeah, anyone who wants to, go ahead and roll a perception check.
Can I roll again, or?
Sure, yeah. Okay, so Don and Worsened and Alcana, you both pick it up, and seeming to pinpoint the voice, Alcana, you sort of, our eyes are taken to, there's sort of like almost like a little ledge that the path seems to go to next to the waterfall, but you see maybe 30 feet away from that is a sort of another kind of like smaller borehole dug into the wall. And as you look, you can see above that, maybe 10, 15 feet above, two pythons driven into the wall that have this rope hanging from it that seems frayed just a few feet above where that borehole is. And you sense that that's probably where the voice is coming from.
I think we might have found.
As soon as anybody says anything, Alistair just runs over there.
Yeah, as you get closer, you can hear this voice calling in Wushanko. Oh, there is someone helping me, please, someone is there.
Alistair yells back in common, "Yes, there's someone here."
Oh, someone's I heard I heard your voices carrying. You have to shout to be heard in this friggin' place, but who? Oh, who is it? You speak common.
Yeah, we're Westerners.
Indeed.
So, you guys are approaching this borehole. I want to ask, who are the first people to run up to it?
Light buddy.
I mean, I guess
Like
Alistair.
I think Alcana would definitely be curious.
So probably Alistair and Alcana.
Yeah. So, Alistair and Alcana, as you rush up to it, Alcana, you can see there's this man sort of in. Now getting closer to it, it's sort of less of a borehole and more of like a small cave. And this man, he's a little bit thick around the middle, very tan skin, balding. He's wearing what seems to be sort of half plate, but with surprisingly colorful like linens over it. He's got sort of a large sword on the ground next to him in a small pack. And he sort of looks up as he spots you, his eyes sort of squinting, and he says, Oh my, wait a second. Is that Alcana?
Huh? Is this? Huh?
Oh, wait!
Wait! No, this can't be! This can't be what I think it is it?
He's Alcana Theresis. Oh my, look at you. You look like garbage, like you haven't slept inside for a month.
I mean, that's not
thought I was
entirely
hoping-
inaccurate.
I was hoping I might run into you here. I mean, that's kind of the whole reason I went on this trip. For you to come across me like this. Oh, I feel like such a putz. I was climbing here. I dropped my holy symbol. I dropped my focus. Oh, what a fool I am. Can't cast any spells. My leg has been gummy this whole time. Come in here. Come in here.
I'll be there as soon as I can, Master Shy. Oh, thank
Wait,
goodness.
What did you just say?
You know that guy?
Yes, Master Shy, he's my teacher. He helps me figure out to get here in the first place. I
Wait,
thought
what the
I'd
hell?
mention him at some point.
You have.
I'm as surprised as you. No one really knows where he is at any given moment. Or I guess except right now, but...
Yeah. And as you all rush over to meet this mentor to Alcana, I'm gonna say let's go ahead and end the session.